York Giant fans, little late stream for you guys tonight. Baddog over there doing the Lakers game, but we're still going to give you our 2 hours. What's going on, Baddog?
What is going on, everybody? Yep. Thursday night, man. What's going on?
Thursday night. Nothing better, man. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. What's up there? Ray, what's up there? Jaden, what's up? King, what's up? Evan, Joseph Cupid in the house. I saw a dire Giants fan in here. Cushmaster, Pack Rat in the house. Justin Roman, Sean Torres, Lestat, Chill Daddy, Evan Spitzberg, Afghanistan, Joseph Cupid. Thank you to everybody for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning into the live stream. Draft coming up very quickly.
Yep.
We're, 3 weeks away now, right?
3 weeks.
3 weeks away until we finally have to stop dealing with all the speculation from one guy will do a mock draft, the next day I'll have another guy going in the first round, next guy. A week ago everybody said Giants going offensive line. Now everybody says we're going edge rusher. Now everybody says we're going wide receiver. In 3 weeks, it's all done with. Yep. We know what the New York Giants are going to do. We're going to talk about it tonight, where we think our heads are at going into the draft. I'm sure not a ton has changed. There's been some minor things with the Giants this week. They did hire a couple of new members of the coaching staff. I don't know if you did any research into it, but I really like the Russ Callaway hire, who I think is actually going to add something to this offense, but not a lot of major headlines for the New York Giants. I don't know if it was last time we talked. I don't think it had happened yet. Daniel Jones is down in Arizona practicing with his teammates, which he was the guy that started that, which was cool to see that leadership.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you want from your young quarterback, is to go out there and establish leadership role. And listen, getting extra work never hurts anything. I do remember last year, same thing though. I forgot what park he was in, but he was in a park throwing with somebody. I remember him trying to stay in shape, or
yeah, it was at,
whatever it was in the offseason.
It was in Duke. It was at Duke.
It was at Duke, right? I can't remember who he was throwing the ball with, but he definitely was doing that. So, I mean, that's good. You want your quarterback to be the leader of your team, and he's definitely trying to take that on. So, and again, obviously Daniel Jones is going to have a much different offseason this year when he has a chance to actually practice and go to camp and hit some exhibition games. And it's going to be much different this year. So I'm looking forward to it. And again, we all want Daniel Jones to succeed. So let's hope that he does. Let's hope he takes the next step and he proves this year that he is going to be the future quarterback for the New York Giants.
Yeah, and we say it all the time. That's what this offseason is all about, and we're going to dive further into the draft and some of you guys' questions tonight. Vin, man, thank you very much. Why are all these teams winning? Oh, you're talking about the NBA? It's because the Knicks are starting to lose, and they're going to make us sweat. But the schedule is pretty tough. I'm not even going to lie to you, man. I was looking at it over today. We got 20 games left. Knicks better win tomorrow night. They better win tomorrow night against Memphis. Not going to be easy, man, but we'll see, man. I think we could win. We should have won our last game. Greg, man, thank you very much. Says, how do you feel about Ryan Anderson? Ryan Anderson, of course, the former second-round pick, I think it was, from the Washington Redskins at the time, now the Washington football team. I think he's a good fit. He's a guy that actually forced 4 fumbles in only 4 starts when he got the opportunity with the Washington Redskins at the time, I think 2 years ago when he was a starter. This year, he kind of got kicked out because of the new scheme. They hired Del Rio. And he didn't really fit what they were trying to do over there. So I like the Ryan Anderson ad. Do I think he's going to be a world beater? No. But I think like a Fadi Adenabo, I think he's a nice guy in certain packages that could come in and be a situational edge rusher for us.
And that's what I think the Giants do. The Giants have a lot of those plug-and-play guys. So, I think that's – again, nothing wrong with that. I think that these guys that the Giants bring in, I think that every one of these guys, they already have a plan in place for. I think that's why they bring these guys in. They look at these guys and say, all right, we got a plan to do this. Let's get this guy in here. We're going to do this with them. We're going to do that. Yeah, I think Ryan Anderson could definitely be effective in certain packages, but, he's not going to set the world on fire. I mean, the guy's not going to be, 15-sack guy, but definitely a plug-and-play guy that can come in certain packages and be effective. I think that's what the Giants do with a lot of their free agents this year, a lot of these guys. So,
yeah, and you look at the New England Patriots back in the day, that's what they did.
Yeah.
They always got guys that could fill the certain roles, and that's kind of what they're looking for here. They're looking to get value out of certain positions on defense. That's what they did with Reggie Ragland. That's what they did with Ryan Anderson. That's what they did with the D tackle they brought in. Like, they had a lot of smart signings. Yeah. They had a lot. Danny Shelton. Yeah, they had a lot of smart signings in free agency to fill small roles that needed to be filled, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the draft because I want to give you my opinion on the defense and why, in a certain scenario, why I wouldn't be so against going defense early in this year's draft. NY Giants 26, man. Thank you very much. Stand up. I'm hyped for the stream. Can't wait to sit on my couch for 36 hours. And is it that long? I don't think it's that long, but it's pretty long. NFL draft weekend. Slater, Parsons, Smith, give me them. Offseason was very impressive and surprising. Giants winning 11 games. DJ will be good. Love your optimism, my man. And
also,
thank you so much, man, for all the support that you always show on the channel on my Giants 26. What's going on, my man? And listen, man, Baddog and myself, it's going to be about 20 hours. I mean, between the first round, second round, third round. We did it last year.
Yep.
We're going to do it again. I'm not going to have a voice at the end of it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And you guys are going to be here for it, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. That was a lot of fun last year. And listen, not only do we get to look at who we get in the draft, we get to make fun of the Eagles. You know they're going to screw it up. So,
Eagles are going to do something. They're going to do something stupid.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what it is.
That.
that gave us content for like a month, just picking on the Eagles for that Jalen Hurts pick. It was great.
That was great. We can be picking on them for the next few years.
Vin, man, thank you very much. They hate us because they ain't as Parsons smokescreen. Listen, I like Parsons. And I know that there's a lot of reports out on Parsons. I don't know. You know, I don't know enough about it, but all I could say is the more I watch of Parsons, and when I'm bored, I watch film of these guys every single day. I watch films of Slater. I was watching the film of Slater today of him beating the crap out of Chase Young while he was at Northwestern. And I was saying to myself, how could Giants fans look at this and not want this guy? And then I go over and I start watching film on Parsons, and I say, how could Giants fans not want this guy? And the more I watch of both of them, and I know there's character concerns for Parsons, the more I will be in love if we select either one of those two players. I think a player with the talent of Parsons puts this defense to another level. Like he should not be going outside of the top 10, but due to character concerns, he may. But in terms of a talent and his fit for this scheme, it's a perfect match.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would not be adverse to taking Micah Parsons at all. The kid is a game changer on defense, probably the best defensive player in the draft. I know a lot of Giants fans want your edge rusher, but I think an edge rusher at 11 is a reach. I don't think any of those guys are worth the 11 pick. It's always funny when you do mock drafts. The nature of the beast of the mock draft is, that's some people say, you know, that's a good draft. Some people say, well, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm like, do you know what the hell you're talking about? Because none of us are GMs. None of us are analysts. And how many analysts make 15 different freaking mock drafts anyway? It's just a mock draft. That's all it is. You're guessing. You're guessing. So, yeah, Rashawn Slater, a lot of guys like, we got to go edge in the first round, wide receiver in a second. Okay, I understand that. But Giants have a lot of holes to fill. You know, Rashawn Slater, when I did my research on him, he reminded me a lot of what I read. Sounds a lot like Justin Pugh. Comes out as a tackle, better suited to be a guard. He's undersized. And that's what I thought about. I was like, you know, Justin Pugh was not a great guard, but he was good. And he was a Pro Bowl guard. And he was drafted 13th overall. So they're kind of in a similar situation. But there's no reason to think that Rashawn Slater can't get stronger. He's not going to get taller than 6'4". You don't need him to be 6'7", but he can definitely get stronger. Gain weight, that's not a problem. These guys can get stronger, so he doesn't need to be undersized all the time. And he's still bigger than Justin Pugh was. But I found it interesting that he projects better as a guard.
You know another guy that projected better as a guard that was a tackle, Zach Martin.
Yeah.
Zach Martin worked out pretty good for the Dallas Cowboys.
I think he's also number 70.
Yes, I think you're right.
As was Zeitler.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. But I don't know if he's going to be there. He might not be. And I want to talk more about that as the stream goes along with some of the trades that have gone down. But if Slater's there, I'm Team Slater. I'm not scared to say it. I know a lot of people in the chat are Team Devontae Smith. I know a lot of people in the chat are Team Jalen Waddle. And I get it. We're all here for it.
I get it.
Anthony,
I'm Team Kyle Pitts, by the way.
Anthony, man, thank you very much. We going to the Super Bowl, Mother Blankers.
Let's go, Anthony.
From your lips to God's ears, Anthony. I can't even imagine what that stream would be like, Baddog, if we were in the Super Bowl.
God, I might break the internet.
Mighty Man, thank you so much, man. Mighty Mango. He says, hello, Chris, and all Big Blue fans. What's going on, my man? Love the Saquon jersey, buddy. What's going on, my man? Thanks for popping in, my man. And let's see. Jonathan, he says, Tana, when it's time to draft at 11, I see a dilemma developing. I predict 3 players will be available, and we will have a tough decision to make. Well, I'm guessing that you're thinking it could be the 3 players in my thumbnail. But let's go over what I think is going to happen. I think 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks. I don't know if Atlanta takes a quarterback or they trade down, but I think 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks. Then after that, what'd you say?
I can see that. I was actually on Uncle Lou's stream this morning, and I said the Falcons would be stupid to pass on a quarterback, and he said, well, that's all the Falcons do is stupid things.
But even if they pass, I could see them trading out.
I can too.
And maybe Denver moving up and taking a quarterback.
But
I'm going to say 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks. Then it gets interesting. Because then you look at Cincinnati, there's been Jamar Chase rumors. There's been Penny Sewell.
They got to take Penny Sewell.
I think they should.
They have to.
But if they take, let's say they take Sewell, I think Miami is definitely taking a weapon.
They got to take Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Chase or Pitts. I think that's what they do. Then the Lions, I think, take a receiver, probably not a tight end, because they drafted Hawkinson.
There was talk about they need a receiver because they
lost their 2 best receivers.
Way
from
them. So, yeah, they would need a receiver.
Carolina is interesting. And that's why I made a video talking about how it could potentially have affected the New York Giants pick, because Carolina doesn't have the best of offensive lines. They could take Rashawn Slater if Penny Sewell's off the board, or they could take a wide receiver as well. Or I think if Pitts is there, I think they'll take Pitts. But if Pitts is off the board, I think they'll take Slater.
Yep. I can see that.
And that's where it gets interesting as to who will be there. I hated that Carolina trade because then I said to myself, I think there's a less of a possibility that Slater's going to be there when we're up.
It's weird. That was a weird trade to me. I don't really understand what they saw in Darnold. I don't get it, but who the hell?
You hate Darnold.
I'm surprised. I don't hate him. I just don't think.
I don't blame you. He hasn't been productive.
But I'm just surprised that Carolina didn't just decide to go the route of drafting a quarterback.
Right. I'm with you.
What's that?
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go that route because Sam Darnold, if he's good, you have to pay him.
Exactly. That's my exact thinking. And I don't even hate Darnold. I'm like, yeah, I think Darnold might be successful there. They've got Brady, a good offensive mind. They've got weapons, and they could add another one. But he could be successful. But like you said, even if he is, you got to pay him the next year.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that. I thought it was a dumb move by Carolina.
Yeah, I know they're not close to being good either. So it's a weird trade.
Yeah. I know that Rule liked him. I remember when Rule almost took the job with the Jets, they said that he really liked Darnold. But
just
I said it. What did you say?
Just wait a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, good point. He'll be a free agent. Well, he'll probably get traded somewhere else. But the first thing I thought of, and I put it on Twitter when I thought of it after the trade, I'm like, I'm glad Matt Rule didn't become the New York Giants head coach.
Yeah, me too.
Because he basically put his job on the line for Sam Darnold.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. After we missed on him, I remember doing a video not too long after that saying it might have been a blessing in disguise. I didn't like his presser at all. I like Joe Judge's way better. So I definitely think the Giants got the best coach. I do.
I could talk about Joe Judge for hours.
Yes.
Brandon, man, thank you very much. So many new Giants free agents are saying that they think something special is brewing with us. It seems like I really hope Judge is doing something great. Yeah, I saw the article with the Fedi Adenabo. I almost made a video on that, but I decided not to because I was like, well, a lot of free agents are going to say that. But it's still encouraging to hear. And one thing that you definitely saw, I think, you definitely saw players take less. Like Danny Shelton probably could have got more from somebody else. Nate Solder absolutely took less to stay here. Like he could have gotten cut and probably got paid more to play somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, what that says is Joe Judge is building something here that players want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And for the first time in a long time, it has not been that way with the New York Giants.
Agreed. And I don't think it's just Joe Judge. I think it's just the coaching staff overall. And honestly, I know Galladay got paid a lot, and I know Dory Jackson got paid a lot, but the Giants didn't normally attract those type of free agents either.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants did miss out on Leonard Floyd. I mean, he decided to go back to LA. I can't say I blame him there, but they pursued him. You're not going to get every guy you want, but for Galladay and Adoree Jackson to come over here, two big free agents, and to have all these guys come over, take 1-year deals, I agree. I think that they believe that the Giants are starting to build something and they're starting to turn a corner. And hopefully our guys stay healthy this year and, we can win 10 games. That'd be nice.
That's the one thing I worry about. And the health. I think there's a lot of players on this team you worry about the health, but we'll talk more about that. Pinworm, thank you very much. He says, hey, Pin, man. Thank you very much. Go Giants. Pinworm, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. And Entertainer Talking McDonald's. There he is. He said, just finished my chicken nuggets and McFlurry. Well, I appreciate you popping in the stream, my man.
He swung by mine, too, along with Lard Dog Sports. Yes.
Jonathan, man, thank you very much. Baddog, Lakers game plus stream, true champ. Cheers.
Hey, thanks, Jonathan. Listen, the Lakers couldn't help out the Knicks, of course. They had to turn the ball over 1 million times in the second half. They actually could have beat Miami tonight, but you got a point guard.
I'll tell you what. I didn't watch the game. Miami's dangerous.
They didn't play that well. They shot well, but trust me, the Lakers are winning that game. The Lakers did not have, think about this, no LeBron, no AD, no Kyle Kuzma, no Taylor Horton-Tucker, and Gasol did not play. So 5 guys on that team did not play, and the Lakers were right in that game, into the fourth quarter. And Dennis Schroeder went 1 out of 11, turned the ball over 8 times. The Lakers turned the ball over 22 times and gave up 33 points in turnovers. And that's how they lost. So,
not an impressive performance.
No.
And
but it would have been nice in the win to help the Knicks out. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Chicago, man, thank you so much, man. Says, good video earlier with the depth of wide receivers in this draft. I've changed my mind. The Giants can wait till the 2nd or 3rd round for one. Go O-line or defense at 11. Yeah, so I don't know if you got a chance to watch it today, Bad Dog. I made a video, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. I went over the wide receiver position from the drafts between the years 2015 to 2019. And actually, I got the players right here. I wrote them down. These are the wide receivers that were drafted. You tell me which grouping is the best. Okay, these are first-round wide receivers over that 5-year stretch. 5 consecutive years. Amari Cooper, Kevin White, Devontae Parker. Well, I'll just give you the top 10. The top 10 in the first round over those 5 years. Amari Cooper, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Corey Davis, Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Rashard Perryman, and Nelson Aguilar. Over the second round, over those same years, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, DJ Chark, Cortland Sutton, Curtis Samuel, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sterling Shepard, Michael Thomas, Tyler Boyd, and DK Metcalf. Over the third round, over those same years, Terry McLaurin, Michael Gallup, Cooper Kupp, Kenny Golladay, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Ty Montgomery, and then in the 4th and 5th, you had Jamison Crowder, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Darius Slayton.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you the value that you could get at the position.
Listen, we talked about it before. There's a lot of busts in the first round wide receiver. A lot of them. There is more busts than wide receivers that end up being good in the first round. It's a fact. So I'm all about waiting for a wide receiver. We got our number 1 receiver. That was the whole point. They did. They went out and paid one. It's Kenny Golladay. If they decided to go Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith, I'm not going to have a problem, but I'm fine to wait until the 2nd and 3rd. But I don't care. I mean, they got a lot of wide receivers here. They got to stay healthy, but you got Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Kenny Golladay, guy like John Ross, Dante Pettis. I don't think that's that bad. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've just always felt, and again, this is what I'll say about taking a wide receiver, if they do it, and they might. If they take Devontae Smith, if they take Jalen Waddle, I'm going to support it. I'm going to say, okay, they look at their wide receiver core. They look like they're injury prone. They see that Sterling Shepard's probably not in the long-term plans. They're not completely sold on Slayton. I'll support it. But for that pick to be the right pick, at least in my opinion, and everybody has their own opinion, 3 years down the line, he's got to be a top 5 wide receiver. He's got to be a top, because to me, even if Rashawn Slater is Justin Pugh, like you said, which obviously if you're taking him there, you're hoping he's going to be better. But even if he's an above-average guard, not a great guard, an above-average interior offensive lineman, that to me is more valuable than a good wide receiver.
Agreed.
So to justify taking a wide receiver at 11, he's got to be Pro Bowl level. And if he is, good pick.
Yep.
If he's not, bad pick. And a lot of times, a lot of guys that people think are going to be Pro Bowlers at that position don't work out to be Pro
More
Bowlers.
often than not, they don't.
Yeah.
More often than not, they don't.
And T Savage, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Eagles already did something stupid by trading back. What did you think about the trade back overall?
To me, it proved that they have no faith in Jalen Hurts. They try to trade up with the Jets, get a quarterback. Why they traded back, I don't know what they're doing. At this point, I guess they decided that they're going to try to rebuild, and they don't need an impact player, so they try to accrue draft picks, and we'll see. I mean, you got a draft pick from the Colts, which could turn into a first-round pick, and you got one from Miami. Both of those teams can end up in the playoffs, and then you got 2 late first-round picks. Or they can get lucky like Miami did, and Houston had a terrible year, and one of those teams gets an injury or just has a really bad year, and they end up picking top 10 or something. But I thought it was stupid. I mean, why? So I just said this before. So you tank to move up from 9th to 6th only to trade that back with a team that most likely is going to end up in the playoffs. I don't get it. What somebody said is they tanked for an extra first-round pick. Oh, okay.
See, the damaging part for me, I could understand the trade back because I thought about it. I said, okay, they're rebuilding. They're trying to get future draft assets. But if the rumors are true that they tried to trade up to get a quarterback, the damage that does to Jalen Hurts is not good. That's not good. That is not good if it's true that leaked out that they were looking to trade up to go up and get a quarterback.
Listen, the other thing is they benched him for Nate Sudfeld and said that this, it doesn't matter if they were tanking or not. You have a rookie quarterback in there. You want him to get field time. You want to give him a chance to say, hey, let's see if he can go down and win the game in a big spot, even though it's not a big game. But let's see if he has that makeup to lead the team back when he had a bad game. Now, Eagle fans are all touting his, praising him. And I'm like, what are you praising him for? The guy completed 52% of his passes. He was 7 out of 20 for 72 yards and an interception against Washington.
Yeah.
Okay? That's terrible. That's terrible. And then he got benched for Nate Sudfeld. Yes, he gave him a better chance to win than Nate Sudfeld because he could run. But, I mean, come on, man. He's not the guy, and they know that.
Yep.
Why they drafted him, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, and I'm glad I don't know what they're doing because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're going to suck for years, and we're going to sweep their ass this year, and I can't.
Robert, man, thank you very much, man. He says, this is the year that Dave Gettleman trades down. Mark my words. I wouldn't be shocked. It all comes down to, is there a partner? Is there a play? To me, it's got to be a quarterback. Is one of the top 4 quarterbacks going to get there? And if Mac Jones goes to the 49ers, it's possible. At number 3. That's how I think it becomes a possibility, or at least more of a possibility that we could trade down. But what I will say, even though Gettleman, and I've said this countless times, even though Gettleman does not have a history of trading down, you know who does? Bill Belichick.
Yep.
Joe Judge comes from that school of thought.
Yep.
So I agree with you. If the right deal presents itself, I do think the New York Giants could trade down. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but the right deal's got to present itself.
Slater's not there. I mean, especially if Slater's not there. Then if Slater's not there, Pitts ain't there, Swell's not there. Well, Swell's not going to be there. But if those guys aren't there, maybe the Giants will say, all right, we'll trade back. And then maybe they do. Maybe they trade back, and maybe Micah Parsons falls in him at 21 because of all the off the field. Maybe he does. Maybe somebody like that does fall down the road. Maybe they do go Greg Rousseau at 21 if he falls all the way. I don't even know if he's picking 21. I'm just using that as an example. But you never know.
Yeah. And Kevin says, worst case scenario, Pitts goes 4, Jamar Chase goes 5, Smith goes 6, Waddle goes 7, Sewell goes 8, 9 goes Parsons, 10 goes Surtain. Slater is see, I disagree with that. I don't think Slater is the worst case scenario. I like Slater. I keep saying it, Bad Dog. I think Giants fans are underselling Rashawn Slater. I think Rashawn Slater is a damn good player. If that's the worst case scenario, I'm going to be as happy as a pig in shit on draft night if we end up with Rashawn Slater.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? We all know Daniel Jones needs an offensive line. I mean, he's been injured 2 years in a row. He gets knocked around a lot. They got a young offensive line. You want to build that old line. The Giants, when I was growing up, man, they always won with running a defense. They have the defensive piece of it now, but they were able to run the ball and dominate up front.
I just want to read this. I'm about to lose it.
Yeah.
He says if one of the top 5 quarterbacks fall to 11, we trade down. There's value in rounds 2 to 3, and we need more capital. I'm not saying past 20, but I like 15. I agree with you, True Rap. Let me just read these before I lose.
I agree with that too.
Kendall says, yo, what up? Hear me out. What if we gave up Ingram, a second, a first, and a third for the Falcons? Too much. A second, a first, and no way. And Derek says,
quarterback.
Hello, I'm going to lose these. Hello, sexy. And Derek, man, thank you so much for being here. Nikki Sav says, Bucky Brooks, Dallas 11 wins, and Giants have no weapons.
Bucky Brooks is on the pipe.
I don't care what Bucky Brooks has to say. Dallas could win 11 games, but I disagree that the Giants. We're going to get more into that because I want to read these before I lose them. But how do we have no weapons? Bear, thank you very much. If we take a linebacker, who would you rather have, Micah Parsons or Zaven Collins? Micah Parsons. I like Zaven Collins actually a lot, and I actually think he fits our scheme. But no, Micah Parsons, man. Micah Parsons. Collins is solid in coverage, and maybe that's what you're alluding to. And I got Michael here because I'm going to get the rest of my phone. But Micah Parsons. Royal Money, thank you very much. What would need to happen for Kyle Pitts to fall to us in the draft? A
lot.
I think a lot of they'd have to go out and get drunk before the draft. The 5 or 6 teams drafting ahead of us. Don't expect it. John Letourneau, man, thank you so much. Stella and stand up, fellas. Love you guys. Y'all are amazing. Philly loves y'all. But having said that, y'all are hyped for a 6-10 record. They had to depend on my Eagles to help just because the Giants made moves. He keeps telling us that, bad dog.
What?
He keeps telling us that we're going to get 6 wins, John Letourneau.
I love you, buddy, but Johnny, it's not happening, buddy. We're going to get 6 wins in this division alone. There you go.
We should have had 6 wins this year. Jamal, man, thank you very much. Yo, Tana, what's up? I feel like how the draft is setting up, we're in a position where we can't lose. Also, how do you get one of those wrenches? You just keep showing up. One of my mods will eventually notice you. You just keep showing up. I've given out way too many. We've had way too many problems with that. We're giving them out slow and steady. But as far as your comment about, we can lose. They can do something out of left field. But what I will tell you, Jamal, is it's going to be very hard to lose. I do think what the Giants did for agency set them up where they could go so many different ways, and I'm not going to be upset as a fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And Brownie, man, thank you so much for the hot dog. And you get me fat as usual. Jonathan says, McNeil home run reminded me of Tatis. Did you? Oh, I was flipping out, man. I had to go live on the Mets channel right after, but I love the bat flip. That's what you're alluding to with Tatis. Michael Conforto, we got a little lucky there, man, dog. Got a little lucky there.
I don't even know how the hell I don't even know how the umpires can look at themselves in the face and realize that they probably cost Miami. Well, you don't know, but they definitely cost them the game in that instance. When the pitcher's down the middle of the plate and the guy sticks his elbow when it gets hit. I don't know how the hell you call a hit by pitch and don't review that and don't overturn that. That was disgraceful. I got no problem with the Mets.
Oh, I'm happy we won. They messed up. I'll be the first to say it.
They should be embarrassed. That's as blatant as it gets.
Yeah. And Lou, man, thank you very much. Ron Dane was the greatest Giants draft pick. Come on.
If you're not a Giants fan, once.
Come on, Lou. And Pin says the Eagles are sofa king we Todd id. I agree with you, Pin. I agree with you, Pin. And let's get to Michael. What's a better strategy? Wide receiver round 1, offensive line round 2, or offensive line round 1, wide receiver round 2, assuming Slater, Waddle, Smith are all available. Depends who the wide receiver is in round 2 that's going to be available and who the offensive lineman is that's going to be available in round 2, and you don't know. So you're saying, what would I rather do in round 1? I'm a Slater guy. I've come out and I've said that. I would rather make sure, to me, Slater is just as good. Like everybody says BPA and they say, oh, you have to go, Waddle. You have to go Devontae Smith. To me, and people could whatever. Everybody's got their own opinions. Rashawn Slater is just as every bit good as in terms of a player. It's just that he doesn't put up fantasy stats.
Right.
Everybody has Rashawn Slater in their top 10. Everybody. So I don't know where the hate's coming from. So me personally, I prefer Rashawn Slater. And you know the funny thing I hear all the time, Bad Dog, and it's not funny. Whatever, I get it. Everybody always says you have to go best player available. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Are the Kansas City Chiefs going to go best player available? No. They need a tackle. They're going to take a tackle. Pat Mahomes got killed. In a best case scenario, you take the best player available. But I think as a general manager, you have to weigh both. You want the guy that you're taking to be close to the best player available. In an ideal scenario, he is, but you also have to weigh your needs. Yeah. And if the guy that is at a position that is your biggest need is within 2 or 3 of your best available player on the board, unless the best available player is a generational player, you usually take him.
Yeah, we got in trouble because Jerry Reese was taking best player available for years, not addressing our needs, which was offensive line. And when he tried that, he failed. So you can't always go best player available. Ideal situation, yes. I don't think it's hate with Slater. I just think, they want wide receivers. Offensive guard isn't sexy.
Yeah.
Offensive guard ain't taking the 70 yards of the house. And like I said, the only time they get notoriety is when they screw up. Listen, I have no problem with Rashawn Slater. I want this offensive line to be watertight. I want Daniel Jones to be protected. I want Daniel Jones to be healthy, and I want Saquon Barkley to be healthy. Everything that we do is going to start up front. People can talk about the game has changed. The quarterbacks fire the ball 45 times a game. It's even more of a reason to have a good offensive line nowadays. But the game is still won in the trenches. The game is still won at that line of scrimmage. And if you're getting pushed back and you can't run the ball and you can't get pocket protection, you're going to lose.
Yep.
So, you got to get that protection. You got to have our young quarterback upright so he gets some confidence, because I have said it all the time. Daniel Jones' biggest problem is in between his ears. And I think if he knew he was going to be upright, had faith in his offensive line, he's going to play a lot better. If that means Rashawn Slater, I am perfectly fine with it. My first mock draft, I pretty much put the cat out of the bag. I said I was going to take Rashawn Slater because that's who I think the Giants are taking. Not that that's who I want. Like, I'm a Pitts guy, but I think Pitts is good. I got no issues with Rashawn Slater coming here.
Yeah. I'm going to read a couple from the phone, then we're going to get back to here because I don't want to lose them. Christian, man, thank you very much. Don't forget, O-line helps our greatest weapon, Saquon Barkley, 26. Well, it's not just him. It helps everybody. If the offensive line gets better, it helps everybody. It helps the quarterback. It helps the wide receivers. It helps the defense. It helps everybody as a unit, Christian. But thank you very much. Kendall, man, thank you very much. First and third is next year for fourth, and we keep 11. First and third is – so you're saying next year's first and a third for the fourth? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I mean, for what? To take Kyle Pitts? Am I gonna give up a future first-round pick and a third-round pick to get a tight end? And I know Kyle Pitts is great. I don't think we're in a position to trade up right now. I just don't. We only have 6 picks. Yeah.
I love Pitts.
Yeah.
I'm not trading up for a tight end.
Yeah. I say it all the time. If I'm trading up in the first round, it's for a quarterback, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Because the price that it costs, and that probably wouldn't even get it done. That would not get it done, by the way. To jump from 11 to 4, you're giving up the 11. You're not keeping the 11, because then you're asking the Falcons not to pick until the second round. They're not doing that.
Nope.
So you're giving up the 11, and you're giving up a future first.
Yep.
Not happening. We're not doing that.
I love Pitts, but that's too much. We're not in a position to do that yet.
Yeah. And I'll read here, and then we'll get back to the phone. Abe says, still worried about the Parsons issues. The question isn't whether or not I'm worried about it or Bad Dog's worried about it. The question is whether or not the New York Giants are worried about it.
Right.
And me personally, Abe, I mean, I don't know. I don't get the same information that the New York Giants do, that Miami does, that everybody in the NFL does. So I can't speak on it. But what I'll say is, if there are real character concerns, I don't think we'll take them. That's what I'll say. If there's legitimate character concerns, I don't think the New York Giants will take them. Lard Dog in the chat.
That's insane. We got Lard Dog and Entertainer talking McDonald's.
What a picture. Went to the gym today.
They both swung by my Lakers stream.
2 minutes on the trip.
Big stuff.
That looks like you were. You were about 2 seconds on the treadmill, Lark Dog.
Big. That's big.
There was no way that was 2 minutes.
Well, the thing is, the treadmill wasn't moving. He just stood on it for 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. And he was probably eating a Big Mac.
Yeah, probably.
Zion, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And then I got to get the sacred dust over here. Zion or Kendall. Did I get Kendall? Yeah, I did. Waddle, Micah, Slater, Smith, anyone but Edge. Don't reach on offensive line. If Slater is gone, trade back or take best available. Can't wait. We are in a good spot at 11. I agree with you that we're definitely in a good spot at 11. And I'm not going to be upset if we take any of those players. Like you just said, Waddle, Slater. I wouldn't be upset if we took any of those players, which is why I like where we're at.
Again, you got to, if none of those guys are there in the Giants, I don't want them to reach for an edge rusher either at 11. I think it's too early, but you got to hope that you got a trade partner, because it's easy to say trade back. If you don't, if teams don't have a guy that they really want at number 11, they're not going to give up draft capital to move up to get a guy that they're lukewarm on. They need to be hot for a player at 11 to give up future picks.
Right.
Or, picks in this year's draft. I mean, in an ideal world, it'd be great to get more draft picks. You only have 6, so it'd be awesome to pick up an extra second, an extra third. That's why I'm like, draft, they're not going to get Pitts. But even without Pitts, you can draft Freiermuth in the second round, trade Evan Ingram for early fourth round pick. I think that gets it done. I do, but whatever.
It might. That's probably about what his value is right now, a 4th round pick.
Thanks. Early 4th round.
Yeah. Sacred Dust, man, thank you very much. We're building a team of 60-minute men, as Pizzle would say. Let's take back this division and make it mean something again. Hey, I'm with you, Sacred Dust. We're buying in. We're building a culture, and we got guys that want to be here. Sam says, Slater, plug-and-play starter, future Pro Bowler at right guard. I'm with you, man.
That's the ideal situation we take him. You want him to be a Pro Bowler. You want him to be on that level. So, if you pick a guy number 11, no matter what position he is, and he's a Pro Bowler, you got the right guy. So
yeah.
I mean, we picked Evan Ingram at 22nd, and look at he ended up being a Pro Bowler.
Listen, I've watched Slater plenty of times since this draft started with a lot of the film breakdowns people do. Vox Lombardi had a great one. Rashawn Slater, I don't think there's a question. He's going to be a good offensive lineman. The question is, will he be a tackle or guard? Exotic, man, thank you so much for the 99-cent donation. Greg says, should a 3-0D Baltimore, that game is on he's talking about the Yankees?
Game's not just on Gleyber Torres for the bad throw. It's on the Yankees going 2 for 12 of runners in scoring position. Again, they had 3 runs. They had 13 hits. And the one run that they did get at the bottom of the 10th, Kyle Higashioka, pinch hitting because Gary Sanchez got pinch run for, took the ball to right field and drove in a run. What a shock. Go the opposite way, hit the ball where it's pitched, drive in a run. Yankees don't do that. So, yeah, hitting 167 with runners in scoring position and leaving 11 men on base, that's a big reason why they lost too. Baltimore had 4 hits, scored 4 runs. We had 13 hits, scored 3 runs. Gleyber Torres is not a shortstop.
Yeah, no, he struggled with the glove for you guys.
I love Gleyber, but he's not a shortstop.
Same thing happened with us today. We left 11 on base, and the Mets have been struggling with that too. Brian, thank you very much. Let's get Rashawn Slater in the first and wide receiver Diane. Everybody loves him too, out of North Carolina. I know Bobby loves him. He had a mock to him in the second round of his mock draft. I'm completely for taking. I mean, listen, second round wide receivers I've had my eye on. I'm trying to go over my list here that I like. Elijah Moore, I really like. He's more of a slot guy. He's 5'9", 185. Diami Brown's on my list. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I saw you had mocked in your third as well. I had him mocked in my third and mine too. And Jalen Darden is a late round target out of North Texas. I don't know if you know about him. He's a guy, when I watched his film and saw he did his pro day, he's a guy maybe in the 4 or 6 round area that I really like. But yeah, a lot of people like Diami Brown out of, or if that's how it's pronounced, out of North Carolina.
Out of all my mock drafts, I said it right in the pinned comment, man. My favorite pick in my mock draft is Trey Sermon. Again, maybe it's my OU bias. If Trey Sermon is there after the 3rd round, I'm telling you, that kid, he is a perfect complement to Saquon Barkley. People love Wayne Gallman. He's like Wayne Gallman, but I think he could be a little better. He runs downhill. He's north and south, and he's 6'1", 215, so he's a big guy. Saquon Barkley's a big guy, but he's more of a finesse running back. But you give me Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon is a beast. I'd love to have him.
What is he? He's about 6'1", 220.
215.
215, yeah. Yeah.
And trust me, I watched that kid play 3 years at Oklahoma. He was damn good. And then he went to Ohio State, and he averaged 7.5 yards carry. Trey Sermon could play. If he's available in the 4th round, I wanted Anthony McFarland later in the draft last year. He didn't end up coming here. But Trey Sermon is a great later round pick for the Giants. We need another running back. I mean, you're going to go into the year with Barkley and Devontae.
Oh, I'm in complete agreement with you.
Yeah.
I've mocked running backs in all my mocks so far too. I didn't have him, but I almost took him in one of mine. Yeah. And he is the type of running back we could use. There's another running back actually. What's his name? Let me look real quick. Who's huge, but he doesn't. I feel like he's kind of like Ramondre Stevenson. When I watch him, he's
another guy from Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, really good in the Big 12. And again, I don't know. I'm kind of hot and cold on Ramondre. He also had some issues. So
he's 246 pounds, but he looks too slow for me.
He reminds you a little bit of Bo Scarborough from Alabama. He's kind of Bo Scarborough ended up with Detroit. I loved Bo Scarborough, by the way, at Alabama. Bo is my guy. I loved Bo, but yeah, Stevenson's a nice back. I prefer Trey Sermon, and both of them played at OU, so I know them both well. But I think Trey Sermon's a better back than Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah. And I'm going to get to Hercules first. I'm going to get back to Nick the Wick. He says, I'm going to the LA Chargers versus New York Giants game, but if they ask for a vaccine card, I'm calling you two to crack some heads and eat some cannolis. All rise for Joe Judge. They probably will, to be honest with you. I mean, hopefully not by then, but I know that the baseball games right now, they are. Or you just have to show that you're not. I think they either are going to call for a card, or you have to show that you don't have the virus. You don't have to necessarily get the shot, but you have to show that you don't have the virus.
Yeah, they take temp checks and they do all that stuff. I ain't getting the vaccine, so whatever.
So just make sure you can show me you don't have the virus.
I don't have no virus.
And Simon, man, thank you so much. Sup, Slater and round 2 edge or inside linebacker, or Parsons and round 2 guard? I'd be very happy either way.
Yeah.
Very happy either way.
I'd be happy with that myself.
If they take I'm gonna tell you what. If they take Parsons on draft night, I'm gonna be very excited.
Yes, me too.
I just don't think they're gonna take him. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I don't think they're gonna take him. I think the background check. I think there's too much that's come out. I hope I'm wrong, because I would love to have him with the New York Giants. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'd be ecstatic if we end up with either one of those players, Simon, in the first round. You're gonna see a very happy Tane on draft night.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, it's going to be hard for me to be upset with whoever we take in the first round. I just feel like at 11, there's nobody you're really, really reaching for. Even if they did go Greg, I mean, the defense, the edge rusher would be like my least favorite pick out of all the positions we could fill at 11. But I'm not going to be totally upset if they go Greg Rousseau or Kwity Paye there at all. I'm not going to be upset if they go with Oziz, and I can never say the guy's last name.
Well, I think it's Olajari. I think it's how
Olajari, right. So, he's kind of going up the boards here. I mean, Uncle Lou, obviously, if I wanted to know anything about Azeez Olajari, I would just ask him. But
to me,
we always take a Bulldog. I mean, we take a Georgia player every year. We took Lorenzo Carter. We took DeAndre Baker. We took Andrew Thomas.
The one thing I'll say about Olajari, from what I've watched, and Jalen Phillips too is good, but he has a lot of injury concerns. Olajari might be the best pure edge rusher in this year's draft.
That's what I think.
But I still think it's too early to take him.
Yep, I agree. But like I'm saying, I'm not going to sit here and throw my book across the room and scream if we go defensive end, but I prefer not to take that at 11. Like if we trade back, like I said, into the 20s, and one of those guys is okay. Yeah. At 11, it's a bit of a reach, but I'm not gonna be upset about it. I just won't be happy.
Yeah. John, man, thank you very much. Entertainer, can you do the same thing you did for wide receiver for offensive line, linebacker, edge? Did you read that article by Patricia in regards to Parsons and Coach Chaos? I saw a quote about it. One of my subscribers showed me the quote, John. It might have been you, but I did not read the article yet. No, I did not. I did do a video similar to that, but not for those 5 years specifically last year, where I broke down the value at the guard position, the center position, the tackle position, every position. And wide receiver and running back were the worst in terms of value in the first round. But yeah, maybe I'll do it for the same 5 rounds and break it down by first round, second round, third round prospects. Obviously, the offensive line is much harder to evaluate than a wide receiver. But yes, I probably will do that, John. And thank you very much. And let me get to Nick before I lose it.
I see everybody saying DMX passed away. Well, he was brain dead for a couple of days, but drugs will get you, man. Listen, whatever happened with DMX, that guy's one of the best rappers ever. That was my heyday. That It's Dark and Hell is Hot, one of the greatest rap albums ever. I own it. It's over there. So, absolute legend when it came to the rap game, man. DMX, one of the best to ever do it. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah.
That sucks.
One of my guys right there.
Nick, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Just want to read that. He said that Nick Gates is going to be on the channel soon. He's been working on that for me, man. I can't say thank you enough for that. And I'm looking forward to it when it finally does happen, Nick. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And John Laterno says, Chris and Baddog, since my Eagles are in a bad position overall, if the Giants happen to lose a game to my Eagles, will your post game be huge rants?
Depends.
It depends on it's hard to say. I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be hurt going into the game. I don't know. But what I'll say is, John, I'm going to expect us to beat you guys. I'll say that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. I can't tell you if I'm going to have a rant or not. That's I can't plan that. But
right. It depends on how we play. It depends on the circumstances. It depends on a lot of things. If we lose the way we did the first game, we're pissed because we had no business losing it. But it depends on a lot of things. I won't be happy. I can tell you that. I hate losing the damn Eagles.
Of course. G Nation says, I want Penny Sewell in a perfect world, but Slater is good too. Stand up, guys. Love your vids. Smash that like. Want to call in later. Yeah, G Nation, I'm going to probably do something like that in the future. Leading up into the draft. I'll have some of you guys call in. But thank you very much, my man. And John says, you guys have an awesome night. Chris, I know it's early. Your thoughts on the Phillies through 6 games. Also, do you trust your manager for pulling DeGrom? I don't blame him at all for pulling DeGrom, and I don't want to get into a full baseball chat right now, but it was the first start. I didn't expect DeGrom to throw more than 85 pitches his first start. He threw 77. So I'm not going to kill him for that move. I could kill him for a lot of other things. Not starting Dom Smith on opening day, not starting Jeff McNeil game 3. But for that decision, I actually don't kill him. As far as your Phillies go, you're off to a good start. I'm still in wait-and-see approach with that team, though. I don't trust your pitching. But I do think you're going to be a thorn in our side. You're going to be competitive. But have a good night, buddy. And Sam, thank you very much. Giants may take Notre Dame tight end Tommy Tremble in the 3rd round. I've seen a lot of my subscribers bring him up as well. I don't think we're going to draft a tight end. Unless we trade Ingram. I don't think we're going to draft a tight end.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean,
Giants draft a tight end, you're going to see Evan Ingram traded during the draft. Other than that, you're not. So.
Yeah, I really don't think we're going to draft a tight end. I look at our tight end position right now with Ingram on the team. I mean, we just signed Toyola. We still have Caden Smith. We have Kyle Rudolph. If Ingram's still on the team, we're not drafting a tight end. But if we trade him, we could draft him. And Greg, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Giants versus Eagles, Thursday Night Football, Week 1.
No, because
it's always the Super Bowl champ, right?
Always the Super Bowl champions. Yep. So Tampa Bay will play against somebody.
Could be us. They play us.
It could be.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a pop. But we could play Monday night or Sunday night, but it won't be Thursday night. Yeah. Hunter, man, thank you very much. In any world, could we draft Pitts and move Ingram off the line into a wide receiver role?
Everybody talks about Evan Ingram playing wide receiver. What is the point of a wide receiver? Catch the ball. Moving Evan Ingram to wide receiver ain't going to help him catch the ball.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram's problem isn't that he can't get off the line or he struggles at the tight end position and can't get mismatches. Evan Ingram's problem is he can't complete the play. Moving him to wide receiver is not going to help him in dropping the football. So him at wide receiver actually takes his positional value away. In my opinion, he'd have to learn all the route trees. He'd have to learn all the whole new playbook. It just doesn't make sense to move to wide receiver, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you on that. Kyle, they say the same thing about Kyle Pitts. You can move to wide receiver as well. Here's what I'm going to say. We would not have signed Kyle Rudolph unless we're trading Ingram if they plan to have Pitts on the roster. So I'm going to actually say 100% certainty, even if Pitts is there when we pick, Ingram and Pitts will not be on this roster together because they did not sign Kyle Rudolph not to play.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to say. They're not going to have 3 pass-catching tight ends It's not going to happen. And I keep saying Kyle Pitts is not going to be there anyway, which he won't be. But I don't think he's in the plans. They wouldn't have signed Rudolph.
Two pass catching tight ends and Evan Ingram, you mean?
And Evan Ingram.
He's not a pass catcher.
Yeah.
A pass dropper.
Sacred Dust says, silly question, but what do you use on I try to make upgrades to the channel. I bought a new laptop. That was about $1,500. I bought new lighting. I bought a new microphone. Things like that. I'm going to actually pay for the tailgate this year. So things like that. And of course, the donations help me out. I try to do this full time, but yeah, I try to make upgrades to the channel with things like that. Eventually, I'd like to also have paid guests if I ever get big enough. But yeah, upgrades to the channel, laptop, microphone, lighting, all that.
Right. Same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a new computer. Giveaways.
I do giveaways as well, yeah.
Buying a new TV because I need one to be able to see all the damn streams. I pay for NBA League Pass. I pay for MLB extra innings so I can stream those games. That's pretty much what it's used for. Channel upgrades, all that stuff. Use it for my, Canva to make thumbnails. I use it for YouTube Premium so I can do
that too.
Different things on YouTube. There's a lot.
Thumbnails friggin' expensive. That's $25 a month for that thing.
Yeah. Do I use StreamYard?
That's another. StreamYard's like $20 a month.
There's a lot of expenses that go into trying to make your channel better.
Yeah. Jonathan, man, thank you very much. Maybe you guys won't, but if we draft Gregory with Smith, Waddle, Slater, and Surtain available, you will see the JD version of Baddog Talkin reaction. Yeah, I'm not going to flip out if we take him. I don't want him though. I have not made that a secret. I do not want Greg Rousseau at all. I think he's very overrated, but I will not flip out. I'm guaranteeing at this draft, I'm not flipping out.
Yeah, me neither. I wasn't going to flip out last year either. So.
Yeah. And Chris
Daniel Jones thing, guys, that was a 1 in a million. That was a 1 in a million reaction. It's not going to happen again. And they just didn't make that. I just couldn't believe that they took Daniel Jones at 6 when Josh Allen was there. It was hard for me to believe it. I couldn't process it, and that's how I reacted.
Yeah. And I'm with you on that. It's never going to happen again. Chris, man, he says, I keep telling people 26 is coming back with a vengeance. He's going to make sure we make it to the playoffs. I agree with you. I think if he's healthy, I think he's going to have a huge year.
So.
If he's healthy.
Health is there's no question in his talent.
Yeah.
He's got to stay healthy.
But that's a major question. If I'm being honest, and I'm a huge Barkley fan, that's a major question. A lot of people say it takes 2 years to recover from that injury. And it wasn't just a normal ACL tear, Bad Dog. It was more than that. So I hope, and if anybody could do it, it's him. The guy's a physical freak, right. But I do think he'll be a little slow coming out. And it's why I'm in agreement with you. And it's why I said in my first mock draft, I think we're going to draft another running back. We signed Booker. I think we're drafting another running back. And I think it's going to be in the 4th, possibly one of those 2 6. But I think we are drafting another running back, and I do think they're going to try to take some of the load off Saquon Barkley this year. It only makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why I like Trey Sermon, because that's more of your thunder and lightning type of deal where, again, Trey Sermon runs downhill like Gallman did. We all love the way Gallman ran. We all loved, it didn't look like much, but 2nd and 7 is better than 2nd and 12. Right. So he scored, 6 touchdowns and had a few 100-yard games. Listen, Trey Sermon be good around the goal line, and Trey Sermon be good in 3rd and shorts. I think that Trey Sermon's a good pickup for the Giants. That's the guy that I really liked him to get. So we'll see.
Yeah, Joe says if Pitts falls to 8 or 9, do you jump up ahead of the Cowgirls to draft him? I'll let you answer that. You're a big Pitts guy.
I hope the Cowboys do draft him.
I agree with you.
I hope the Cowboys draft him. The dumbest thing that they've done. They haven't addressed their defense. Their defense stinks. Their defense is terrible. Getting Kyle Pitts ain't going to help them. Their offense is no problem. They score 30 points a game. That's not their problem. They lose because they can't stop anybody. Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. Do you need Kyle Pitts? So they take
I agree with you. I think it would be the dumbest pick they could ever make.
Yep.
So I don't care if he's Antonio Gates. You already have more than enough weapons on that team to have a great offense. Last year, you went over the top by drafting CeeDee Lamb
And there's Ezekiel Elliott. Forgot about him too. So yeah.
Yeah. Like even last year, and we understood it because he was the best player on the board. We thought they went overkill with drafting a wide receiver last
year. They should have taken Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, like last year we were like, well, they didn't need that. So if you drafted Kyle Pitts on top of that, with their offensive line that's getting older, with their defense that's horrible, as a Giants fan, I welcome that.
Yeah.
I say, go ahead. Your defense is going to suck.
They took CeeDee Lamb to block him from the Eagles.
Yeah.
They'd be doing the same thing. You can't sit there and go, oh, God, well, geez, Kyle Pitts, we better take him so the Giants don't get him. You can't worry about what other teams do. You got to worry about yourself. You got to worry about what you need. You got to worry about, hey, we got to make the best team that we have, and we can beat whoever the hell the other team has. So if Kyle Pitts did fall to 10, yeah, Dallas would take him. If Dallas took him, it would be stupid. And I'm not saying that because I think that I want Kyle Pitts. If Kyle Pitts falls to the Cowboys, all the teams in front of Dallas are stupid that didn't take a quarterback too, or an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
But it's possible. I mean, maybe 3 receivers go, maybe 5 quarterbacks go, and maybe a cornerback goes and a couple linemen, and then Pitts is there at 11. You never know. Detroit could be going secondary. You don't know.
You never know. I will agree with that. You never know.
Dallas should be going Pat Surtain at number 10, in my opinion.
Or lineman. But yeah, I'd say more corner. I agree with you. And Glock says, love that Judge is still adding guys to the – yeah, well, they got 23 coaches now on the staff. It's insane.
It's insane. It kind of hurt Joe Gibbs' last tenure in Washington. So I like a coaching staff, but I don't know. Too many cooks spoil the pot sometimes.
So are you a little worried about that?
I do worry a little bit that there's so many minds going in there. I do worry about it. It's always good to bounce ideas off of each other, and that certainly helps to have some powwows. But I do – now, Washington had like 40 coaches, so it was really overkill. But I do remember, and again, Joe Gibbs, the game may have passed him by. Joe Gibbs is one of the greatest head coaches in the history of football, the only head coach to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. But when he came back as his second tenure in Washington, he really wasn't in control. And I'm not saying Judge isn't in control, but I felt like Gibbs was hampered by all those damn coaches. So hopefully it doesn't happen with the Giants.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it will, but they do have a ton of coaches. I'll say that. Arctic, man, thank you very much. Just have you heard of Tevin? Of course I have. Out of OSU, not a stretch to take at 11. Who made what's his name? I'm so bad with names, but the guy who does all the great film breakdowns on YouTube, he made a film breakdown video of him, and everybody's going crazy about him now. I think that's what kind of got this outpouring why everybody's talking about him. But I liked Tevin Jenkins before that. He was moving up mock draft charts. I had him mocked to Washington at 19 in my last first-round mock draft. Yeah, I like him. Do I think we'll take him? Probably not at number 11. And especially if you heard what Gettleman said about our tackle position. We have Solder coming back. To my knowledge, he's strictly a tackle. He's not really a versatile lineman. But, yeah, I like Tevin Jenkins. He's mean. He's nasty. I have not seen the film breakdown video. People have told me to watch it. But I have seen film on him before. I do like him. The funny thing is, when I did my mock draft, Washington fans came at me. They said, are you crazy? How did you have us taking Jenkins? You had us reaching on a lineman, and now all of a sudden everybody's talking about this guy that like he'd be a top 10 pick. But I do like him, yes.
I don't know, man. I have a hard time with teams like Ohio State because when you're playing against just like
Coleman, by the way, Brett Coleman did the film.
When you have teams that just have so much superior talent to their opponents, I don't care about the film breakdowns. It's tough to judge. It's tough to judge. Why a lot of these quarterbacks come out of these big schools and they stink because in college you are on the best team, which is why you put up these big numbers. Then you get drafted early and you go into bad teams, and you're not always able to step up when you're on an inferior team. Not every quarterback can carry their team. I mean, look at it. Some of these great quarterbacks came out late in the draft. Russell Wilson, the 3rd round pick. Tom Brady, ridiculous. I mean, the guy was picked 199th overall. There's a lot of guys that fit. I mean, Peyton Manning obviously was one of the greatest ever. He was picked 1st overall. Ryan Leaf was picked 2nd. Trash. There's a lot. Jamarcus Russell's picked 1st overall. Trash. Dwayne Haskins picked 15th overall. Trash. There's a lot of those. So, again, when you're playing against inferior competition, It's nice to break down film. It's good. It's nice to look at all this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. But we'll see what they do in the NFL. That's why everything's a crapshoot. That's why it's so difficult to gauge all this. You can look at all these guys' film and go, man, this guy's really good. You can look at his combine and go, man, look at all these numbers. But there's so many intangibles that go into being a good football player. They're all good athletes. They wouldn't be at the college level. But there's so many intangibles that go into it. How are you smart? Can you learn the playbook? Do you run the right routes? You know, when you have to swing, can you pull? Can you do this? Can you do that? There's a lot of things that go into all this stuff. So
yeah, no, I saw somebody said this the second time I had to tell you it was Brett Coleman. I'm sorry. but I agree with you. There is no perfect science to drafting. If there was, there would never be first round bust. There would never be fifth round fines. Tyreek Hill wouldn't be a fifth round pick. Tom Brady wouldn't be a sixth round pick. There's no perfect science. The smartest people on earth when it comes to football. Nobody knows, to be honest with you. It's a lot of luck. And it's a lot of being put into the right situation. And
that's the NFL coach's job too, to build your but you're not building your scheme around alignment either. So alignment got to figure it out.
Yeah, and Royal Money, man, thank you very much. We really got a huge question mark at running back and cornerback too. See, I don't think we have a huge question mark at cornerback too if he stays healthy. I think if we have a huge question mark at cornerback too, then why the world did we sign Adoree Jackson? Now, long term, we might have a question mark at cornerback, which is why I'm not against drafting a cornerback in the draft this year. But going in, we better not have a huge question mark. We're paying Adoree Jackson $13 million a year, and we're paying Bradbury $16 million a year. So I won't say. The running back, I think we need depth there. I'll say that for sure. I think we need depth there going into the year.
Depth running back. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And Chris, man, thank you very much. You guys made my 2020 a little bit more bearable. I appreciate it, Chris, man. Thank you so much.
You guys made our 2020 more bearable too, just so you know.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah. Have a reason to come on here and talk sports with people. It definitely helped 2020 go by.
Absolutely.
Dependable line, man. Thank you very much. My draft board: Parsons, Slater. Love you so far. Pitts, Smith, Waddle. Honestly, I'd be fine with any of them, but Parsons I want the most. I think a lot of people want Parsons the most.
Yeah. There's no doubt.
Baddog, we've drafted one in terms of our first round pick. We've only drafted one defensive player since 2012, and that's Eli Apple.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And Dexter Lawrence, that was really a trade. That wasn't our, that's what we got for Odell Beckham. So in terms of the picks that we were supposed to have, DeAndre Baker we traded up for as well. But really, with our first pick in the first, only one player, and that was Eli Apple. And that's what I was thinking today. And again, I want to go offense. I want to get alignment if they're there. But I was thinking today, yeah, we have a good defense right now. But in terms of youth and in terms of the future, who on this defense can you look at and say, yeah, that guy's going to be really good in 3 or 4 years? For sure. Outside of maybe Dexter Lawrence.
Right. Yeah, I agree. By the way, I see people saying there's Oklahoma State. My bad. I said Ohio State. Regardless, the Big 12 is not known for defense.
Oh, I didn't even hear you say Ohio
State. I must have said Ohio State by mistake. I meant to say Oklahoma State. But the Big 12 is not – you're not finding defensive gems in the Big 12. It rarely happens. It's not known for its defense. Now, I will say this. I do like Ronnie Perkins a little bit late, but I'm an OU guy. I always like the OU.
I like Ronnie Perkins too.
I like Ronnie Perkins. I loved Kenneth Murray last year. Oklahoma's actually producing some decent defensive players, so we'll see. But
I like Perkins a lot. Yeah. I think he fits our scheme. I like Perkins. Some edge rushers, Tryon's another guy I really like. I had a mock.
People talk about Joe Tryon.
I like him a lot. I've seen some mocks him going in the third. He's a guy that has all the measurables. He's really athletic, and I think he fits our scheme. He's known to be pretty solid in coverage as well. That's a guy I really like. As far as and Quincy Roche is another guy I like that may be a little bit overlooked, but those are some edge rushers I like in the second or third round area. Irishman, thank you very much, Chris. To your point regarding wide receiver in the first, second, third round draft picks, Victor Cruz was undrafted for,
right,
yeah.
You never know. Antonio Brown, was he a first round pick?
No, he was like a 6th round pick.
Right. So there's another one. I
Yeah.
mean, there's,
Yeah, he was like a 6th round pick, Antonio Brown. Listen, I mean, every position you're going to be able to find guys that were value. But what I will say, you're at certain positions, it's more likely that, matter of fact, I read a really good article today, and I wish I kind of put it in my video as well. The hit rate over the last 15 years at the wide receiver position. And the way that they analyzed this was they were starters for at least half their career. So that's how they measured hit rate. Like if you drafted a wide receiver, if he played 10 years, he was a starter for at least 5 years worth of games.
Yeah.
The hit rate for a first-round wide receiver is 58% over the last 15 years in the draft. In the second round, it's almost even. It's 49%.
Yeah.
The hit rate for an offensive lineman, and it's why it's the safest position, in the first round, 80%. In the second round, it drops to about 60%. But it's a very safe position. The 3 safest positions are offensive line, linebacker, and I can't remember the third. But it was offensive line, linebacker, and it was another one. I can't remember. But the quarterback, there was a huge drop-off after the first round. Huge. But wide receiver and running back are the 2 positions. And the funniest thing about the wide receiver position, it has one of the highest second round, third round, fourth round hit rates, and one of the lowest first round hit rates.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Again, it has a lot to do with your scheme. It has a lot to do with the conference you play in. It has a lot to do with your college team. And again, wide receivers, man, to me, it comes down to route running and hands. I don't think anything else matters. You can talk about all the size. You can talk about all the speed you want. You just use Evan Ingram, man. Evan Ingram's got everything's mismatched. He's big enough. He's ultra fast. There's nobody that can run with the guy. He gets open. He can't catch. There's guys that John Ross runs a 4.22, right? Not a great route runner, injured all the damn time. What's the difference? There's a lot that, like I said, with a wide receiver, you got to stay healthy. You got to be able to catch the ball. You got to be able to run your routes. You got to be able to run crisp routes, and you got to be on the same page with the quarterback. There's a lot of that. And you got to have good.
Also, like you said, the quarterback has a lot to do with the receiver's success too.
It does. And I was a big CeeDee Lamb guy. The hell with Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs ain't CeeDee Lamb. Henry Ruggs, he run fast in a straight line. Every route that he ran in college was a go route.
Yeah.
And I know that the Big 12, again, I'm not sitting there saying the Big 12's in because they suck, but CeeDee Lamb, he can play. And I still think he's the best receiver that came out of that draft class last year. So.
I think it's either him or Jefferson. I mean, he was great last year.
He was.
T-Man, thank you very much. If the Big 4 plus Penny Sewell plus Slater plus Parsons are gone, Big 4, I'm guessing you mean the wide receivers. I'm assuming that's what you mean.
Pitts, probably.
Pitts and the 3 wide receivers, Sewell, Slater, and Parsons are gone. Well, for that to happen, that would mean 4 quarterbacks I think are going to go, and then you think those 7 go. Do we go linebacker, offensive line, edge, or cornerback? I can't see him taking a corner. And I'm a big corner guy. I can't see him taking a corner in the first round. We just paid Adoree Jackson, so I'm going to cross that off. In that scenario, I would probably go Vera Tucker. That's probably what I would do in that scenario, too. That's probably what I would do. I like Vera Tucker. I don't think he's a dramatic drop-off. And I think that's around where he is. Some people may argue they take JOK out of Notre Dame. Some people maybe take Azeez Ojulari. That scenario,
people love JOK, man.
They love him. And they should. I like him, too. But in that scenario, I would take Vera Tucker, T, in that scenario. Bearman, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Since being a fan, who's your favorite receiver we had? Mine's Amani Toomer. Go ahead, Baddog.
I love Toomer. It's got to be Victor Cruz for me. I love Victor Cruz, man. Victor Cruz came out of nowhere, had that great game against the Jets in the preseason 1 year, kind of disappeared, and then we don't win the Super Bowl without him in 2011. And obviously he's a fan favorite, and it's got to be Victor Cruz for me. I love Victor Cruz. He was the freaking man. So,
yeah, I love Amani Toomer. So I'm actually with you, Bear. Toomer's my favorite. He was he was a class act. He was a leader, and he was just consistent. Every year he went out there and he produced. And he was one of the guys that I was most. Strand was the guy I was most happy for because he had been here forever. He was but when they finally won that Super Bowl, Toomer was a close second. I always loved Toomer. I thought he kind of was a little bit underrated, not specifically by Giants fans, but by the rest of the league. Right. I always thought he was a really good wide receiver. For 1 year, though, for me, it's Cruz. I mean, Cruz that year was like a rock star. Yeah. But for a career, I would say Toomer. Jonathan, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. What would be the consequences if we go 6-10 or 7-9? I mean, it's circumstantial, man. I mean, how do we go 6-7 or 7-9?
Is Barkley out?
Does Daniel Jones get hurt week 2?
Right.
Does, I don't know. Like, if everybody stays healthy in terms of the key players, people are going to be fired. Yeah. Dave Gettleman's going to be fired. And if Dave Gettleman's going to be fired, guess who's probably going to lose his job eventually? Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to. It might not happen after this year, but as time goes on, Saquon Barkley, guys he drafted. But I think it comes down, it's easy to say, well, if they win 6 games, what happens? How did that happen? Did Daniel Jones get hurt after week 2? Did the offensive line get even worse? If the offensive line gets worse, Dave Gettleman may be without a job, but maybe not so much Daniel Jones. So I don't know the factors as to how that happened.
Right.
And
they did it at a 17th game, so we would be 7-10 or 6-11. But they do have a 17th game against Miami to finish off the season.
Yeah, but I would say Gettleman is probably gone if we win 6 or 7 games.
If we don't show a significant improvement, he's done.
Yeah. And the extra game. Yeah, so there you go. But thank you, John, man. I really appreciate it. And Kelly, man, he says Parsons should be a top 5 pick without the funny business. If he checks out, I agree with you. He's the best defensive player in this draft.
Yep, I agree.
He's the best
defensive player. I'm all about defense, so I'm not going to have a problem with Micah Parsons.
By the way, I should have been saying it throughout the stream. You guys know. You guys watch this every week. But if you guys have not done so, I'm sure some of my mods can post to the chat below. We will be doing this next week, and by then, hopefully, we have a lot more to talk about. Hopefully, there's rumors circulating. I don't know if there will be. It's kind of been slow with the draft. But we'll be over on Bad Dogs next week. I'm probably going to start to have some mock draft live streams as well. Maybe we'll do that the week after. I think we said we're going to do that on my channel.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing that as well coming up soon. So go over there, check him out. We'll be doing this on his channel next week. And I just got that. Kelly, man, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. And I see Sonor's in the chat. I want to say hello to Sonor. What's up, buddy? He says, Tevin Jenkins' mentality is what wins people over. He's a specific right tackle. I wouldn't kick him to the left tackle. He's not really that overall. I'm going to tell you what, Sonor. I know you're obviously a huge Chargers fan. I think he'd be a great pick for you guys. I think the Chargers, I love you guys have to go offensive line. Your offensive line might have been worse than ours, and that's saying something. And you got your second-year quarterback. I think you guys go Vera Tucker, Jenkins, or Darisaw. But I think you're definitely going to take one of them, and I think he'd be a good fit for you guys. Yvonne, man, thank you very much. If Fields is available at 11, should we consider taking him? Let's say we do end up going wide receiver at 11. Would you guys prefer Waddle or Smith? We're not taking Justin Fields.
If Fields is at 11, the Giants are trading back. That's somebody's trading up for Justin Fields at that point. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah. We're not drafting a quarterback.
We wouldn't be trading within our division, but Washington would be chomping at the bit to get Justin Fields. Trying to think who the hell else could use a quarterback.
New England.
Yeah, New England would probably do it.
Yeah.
Move up from 15 or 11.
Yeah.
That's definitely a possibility.
But, yeah, I think a trade down is possible. There's no chance we're drafting a quarterback.
No.
We're not.
As far as wide receiver, I've said I'm a Waddle guy the whole time, so Jalen Waddle for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm Waddle. But what I have said, and I definitely prefer Waddle, I think Devontae Smith fits the type of receiver that we need more so now after the guys that we've brought in via free agency. So I'd be okay either way, but I agree with you. I prefer Waddle. I think Waddle's the better prospect. And David, man, thank you very much. I'm just here for these two goats. I'm a Jags fan. Well, I appreciate you popping in, my man. And you're going to be happy this draft because you're going to end up with Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
And Superman, thank you very much. Did you guys see we've drafted the most offensive linemen in the past decade? Staggering. bust after bust. Hopefully change in 2020. Keep up the great work, fellas. I really appreciate that, my man. Yeah, I didn't see that, but when you think about it, and a lot of those guys are probably late round prospects, but we have drafted a lot early as well. We drafted Pugh, we drafted Richburg, we drafted Flowers, we drafted Thomas, we drafted Hernandez. So we did draft some early first round offensive linemen. And I'm sure we've drafted a bunch of later in the draft for us to be that high, because 5's not a lot over the last.
I mean, we drafted 3 last year.
We drafted 3 last year. Yeah, we drafted what's the guy's name?
Lemieux.
No, I know that, but in 2019 we drafted the guy that didn't even make the team. That was
Georgia Sapo, whatever.
Georgia Sapo Ajay, yeah. So I'm not too surprised by that. It just hasn't worked out. But one thing that some of my subscribers tell me sometimes is that they say, "Oh, you drafted." Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody on my phone. They say, "Oh, we've drafted so many offensive linemen and they haven't worked out. Why do we keep doing it?" Because that doesn't mean that you stop drafting early offensive linemen. You have to keep drafting them until you get it right.
Right. I mean, the thing is, what do you consider a bust? Like, to me, Eric Flowers, that's a bust. That was a bust. You took him 9th overall. He was absolutely god-awful. But, again, if say Shane Lemieux don't work out, you really consider him a bust, considering he's a 5th-round pick. Like, is that a bust?
No.
I think 5th-round picks can be a bust. I think your first 40 picks, maybe you can go 50. Those guys can be considered bust. I think anything after that is, if the guy fails, he fails. Maybe you can say hold the entire 2nd round, but once you get into the 3rd round, I don't think you can consider those guys a bust. There's a reason they dropped in the 3rd round. So,
if a 5th round pick like Shane Lemieux, and this is what I tell people, like that, if they say, "Oh, we drafted offensive lineman, why are we drafting him again?" He was a 5th round pick.
Right.
If a 5th round pick starts for you and is a valuable starter, that's a huge bonus. Guys in the 5th round are generally depth players, guys that you expect to be guys that could come in if somebody gets hurt. If Shane Lemieux develops into a starter, that's fantastic. That's amazing. And hopefully he does into a solid starter in the NFL. But yeah, you don't expect unbelievable production out of a 5th round pick, regardless of what the position is.
Right. Your 5th, your money is made in the draft for your 3rd and 5th, 3rd through 5th rounds. I mean, that's where you really want to hit on your guys. You're not supposed to miss your first 2 rounds, but those are where your money is made. It is. But at the same time,
that's where you win championships.
Right. But at the same time, the odds of that happening aren't really great. And like Chris said, if you get a guy that starts in the 5th round, you hit on him. Because they're usually there to fill out roster spaces and to play special teams if they make the roster.
Yeah. Darius Slayton's a huge hit.
Yes.
Huge hit,
Tornay Holmes. I mean, the guy's drafted in the 4th round. I mean, this. Look at the guys that drafted in the 7th round last year. They're not saying they, took the world by storm, but I mean, Carter Coughlin, Cam Brown, Tate
Crowder,
they all played well. They all did. They all made an impact.
Nick Gates, undrafted.
Right.
Nick Gates is probably Gettleman's best undrafted.
Yeah.
But in terms of value. T-Man, thank you very much. Elijah Vera Tucker and JOK were my picks too. I love you guys. Hey, I mean, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that will be my next 2, actually. I think maybe Darisaw, but I think Veritek will be my next guy. And if I was going defense, I think JOK would be my next guy in that scenario, or Oljari from Georgia. Charles Barker, man, thank you very much. He says, I don't know about Jackson, but I saw the argument we overpaid for an underperformer. Only other team looking at him was Philly. ESPN loves to hate the Giants, though. Yeah, I mean, we might have overpaid, but at the end of the day, he's definitely a guy with talent, and he's definitely a major upgrade at a position that we needed a major upgrade.
At the end of the day, what are you saving the money for? Yeah. You're trying to accelerate the process, and that's what you're trying to do. The Giants have a lot of questions. They have to win this year because, again, this is Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley's future. We don't have a cornerback, too. Now, they could have drafted Pat Surtain if he fell to 11. They could have drafted J.C. Horn if they felt like going that route. But you do have a guy that's proven. A lot of people got on me about my mock draft because I took Kelvin Joseph in the 2nd round. You don't need a corner. But, again, new day and age, secondary depth certainly helps. We got blindsided by not having DeAndre Baker last year. Got stuck with Isaac Adam over there. We also didn't have Xavier McKinney. Adoree Jackson played 2 games last year. If Adoree Jackson goes down, who the hell is our cornerback 2? This is why I said, hey, Kelvin Joseph might not be bad there at number 42. because not because I think that that's the best player available, not because I don't think that Adoree Jackson can play, but he has been injured. He did have a serious injury last year, so I'm more concerned about what if that happens again. Again, you can't go in thinking about we signed him, he's going to get hurt, but still, we struggle because that side of that was bad. That side of the field was bad.
Yeah.
Again, you
well, that was definitely our weakness on defense.
Yeah.
No.
So,
I mean, I think in my last 6-round mock, I didn't go second round. I think I went fourth, but I did have us taking a corner. I think Paulson Adebo had us taken. But, you know, I think a lot of people, when they do these mock drafts or when they see people make these mock drafts, they just think about this year.
Right.
They don't think about, you know, like last year, the Giants, when they drafted Shane Lemieux, they weren't thinking about 2020.
Right.
When they drafted Matt Parrott, they weren't thinking about 2020. Those were 2023 picks, 2022 picks. So, you know, James Bradbury might not be here long term. They may view the corners that they have right now as not long term solutions, right. Guys that are kind of filling holes. So I wouldn't be shocked if we take a corner. I personally think I'd be surprised if it's second. I could see third though. I could definitely see a 3rd round corner. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
But then again, it's just like I said, it's the nature of the beast of the mock draft. Some people loved it. Some people are like, "God, he's one of the best corners. I would love to get him in the 2nd round." You know, yeah. What the hell is wrong with you? How can you take a corner in the 2nd and a running back in the 4th? The cornerback, I definitely think that. The running back, how are you going to get on me for the running back? I'm like, what do we have for running backs here?
No, I think running back in the 4th is fair. I think that's where we're either going to take one in the 4th or the 6th. We're taking a running back. I'd be surprised if we don't. Yeah. I'd be surprised if we don't. Taco, man, thank you very much. If Parsons is there, he better be the pick. He's too good. It comes down to character concerns. I think that's the big question right now. But
I think if we didn't have the whole DeAndre Baker thing, I think Parsons would be a Giant.
Yeah.
After what happened with him, and again, 2 totally different things.
And you and I both know, Bad Dog, if the Giants do draft Parsons, a lot of these people that are saying you have to take Parsons, if a character thing pops up, they'll kill Gettleman for it.
Of course.
So
it don't matter what they do. He can have a guy that succeeds at number 11 and somebody does better that got picked afterwards. And they're like, why did he take him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Giants can win 11 games. We can go 11-6. People are like, why didn't we win 13 games? Why don't we go 13-4? Gettleman sucks. You know how it is.
Yeah. And
Brandon, these guys are going to scream that they want all these guys say. Gettleman goes Devontae Smith. And Devontae Smith stinks, say. Why the hell didn't you take Rashawn Slater? Why did you do Barkley got hurt? Why didn't you take you already know this.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean it doesn't matter.
You can't win.
Some people just are gonna hate him no matter what he does.
I just hope he proves people wrong this year. That's all I'm hoping. Brandon, man, thank you very much. Route running translates college, NFL. I love his route running. I'll say that, Brandon. Yeah. He's the best route runner. A lot of people say in this year's draft.
I completely agree. I said that all the time. Route running is extremely important, which is why I like CeeDee Lamb. Wheeler runs a 4.52. What the hell did Jerry Rice run? Do you think anybody cares that Jerry Rice ran a 4.6 40? I mean, give me a break, man. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Same thing with Brown. That's what made Antonio Brown so good. Route running. Jonathan, thank you very much. In 5 years, best quarterback and wide receiver from this draft. I mean, I have to say Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But I will give you, Jonathan, what I will do is this. I'm going to give you a different take. If I had a gun in my head, I'm saying Trevor Lawrence. But I'm also going to think about the teams that they go to. So what I'm going to tell you is this. Whoever goes to San Francisco, I think could easily be the best quarterback in this draft in 5 years. Because I think the San Francisco spot, and I don't think enough people look at that, is so much better than the Jaguar spot, than the Jet spot, than the Atlanta spot. The San Francisco spot, you go with Shanahan. You go with the weapons they got over there. They already have a set team. And I said this in my stream the other day, Bad Dog. If I'm Zach Wilson, I'm pulling an Eli Manning. I'm saying, in my head, I'm saying to myself, I could go and play for Shanahan. I could play for the guy that got Matt Ryan an MVP, or I could get drafted by the same team that never gave Sam Darnold a real opportunity to succeed. I'd try to force my way out to San Francisco because whichever quarterback ends up there after Trevor Lawrence, I think is going to have the most success.
One thing I'll say about Trevor Lawrence, probably not going to have the same head coach in a couple of years. Urban Meyer ain't going to last there. Or as soon as things go bad, Urban Meyer will hightail and run. That's what he done his whole career. He's a scumbag. Urban Meyer's not going to be around in Jacksonville very long. So, that's one thing to consider. The Jets ruin everybody that they touch. That's another thing to consider. Have the Jets ever drafted a good quarterback? Kenny O'Brien, Chad Pennington?
Name it.
Right. No, that's about it. But and again, that was back in the 60s.
Yeah.
But was Namath was a pimp, and I love Joe Namath. Joe was my guy. I love Joe Namath, but probably the most overrated quarterback in the history of the NFL. The dude threw 173 touchdowns, 220 interceptions, and he was hurt all the time.
That's the reason. He had injuries, right?
He was great from 66 to 69, but then and even so, even in the championship run, Joe Namath had, I think, 3 games where he threw 5 interceptions. He was not great. A different era, but he won a Super Bowl, and I love Joe Namath, but he wasn't fantastic. Yeah. The Jets have never really drafted a fantastic quarterback, just like the Bears have never really drafted a fantastic quarterback. It's hard. We've talked about this before, how some teams never drafted a good quarterback in their history.
Yeah. It has just as much to do with the team around the quarterback as the quarterback themselves.
Right.
The Jets, coach,
Zach Wilson, poor kid.
Yeah.
I hear San Francisco likes Mac Jones, which I'm really surprised that they would have traded up to 3rd to get Mac Jones. We don't know, but
whoever goes to San Francisco, I think is going to be very good, because I think it's a very good situation.
Mac Jones.
And he says the best wide receiver. I'm gonna go Jamar Chase, but it's very hard for me to say it until I see the teams these guys go to, because what if if I really love one of the other quarterbacks that are throwing the ball to one of the other wide receivers, but in terms of talent, I think Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver.
Yeah, we'll see. If Jamar Chase were the Eagles, we would know that he would suck. So he's not going to go there. But
Lotto, I saw you ask this, and then I'm going to get to Kelly. Have you heard? I just said him. Maybe you didn't hear me. Paulson Adebo. I actually like him a lot. I had him mocked to us in the 4th round. If he got there, I'd love him. He was actually a 1st-round cornerback prospect a couple of years ago, and then he kind of regressed due to an injury, and he kind of bounced back. Really smart kid. He's versatile. I like him a lot to the Giants in the 3rd or 4th round area. Kelly says, do you think any team will reach for a player, and who would that be? Of course, somebody's going to reach for a player. It happens every draft.
Someone's reaching for Kyle Pitts.
Do you think it's a reach, though, as much as you like the guy?
Love him. But if he goes top 5, when you're drafting top 5, are you turning your team around with a tight end?
No, but, Hockenson went 7th, right? I know it's not top 5.
What does Detroit won with Hockenson?
No, I agree.
I agree. I love Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
But when you're drafting that early, he's not a franchise changer to me, because a tight end is a luxury position. An offensive tight end is a luxury position. You usually need other positions around that before you take that. So I don't know. I guess it would depend on where Pitts ended up.
I think the earliest he could go is 4. Atlanta.
Falcons?
I think that's the earliest. I don't think he's
they screw everybody up too.
He ain't going top 3. It's going to be definitely quarterback.
No, he ain't going top 3.
So the earliest he could go is 4.
Carolina.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of another player. If you could say, I could see
Mac Jones at 3rd. That's a reach.
Well, that's a huge reach. Yeah, but it's a quarterback, so whatever. A non-quarterback reach. I could see one of these teams, and I don't know which one. I could see one of these teams being in love with an edge rusher prospect and being, we saw it with Clan Farrell with the Raiders. I could see, maybe JOK, maybe Olajari, whoever. I could see one of these teams, and I don't know which one, reaching on one of those players, or a guy like J.C. Horn. Maybe a corner goes much higher than you expect.
I was just going to say, I've seen some mock drafts that had Surtain going to the Falcons. Is that a reach at 4?
Some would argue it is.
We said Okuda go at 3 to the Lions last year. So
I could see a corner being a top 5 pick. That would be a reach, but I could see it, yeah. Drama, man. Thank you so much. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the chat. That's Drama from Entourage. Pretty cool. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. And let's see. Just want to make sure I don't miss any of these. John, man, thank you very much. kind of liquor do you both drink? Fam has a distill. What kind of liquor do we drink? I'm not a huge liquor guy.
Not anymore either.
Yeah, I'm not a huge I drink JMO, I guess. I've never been a huge liquor guy. I'm more of a beer guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a beer guy. I mean, if I drink liquor, it's usually Southern Comfort and my Alabama Slammer. That's about it. I do like amaretto. That's always good too. You add some amaretto into eggnog. That's beautiful. I don't know if any of you have ever done that. Amaretto and eggnog that's amazing.
I like Johnny Walker. You know, I could go with Johnny Walker as well, but I'm not a huge liquor guy.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Walker is a Scotch. It's not.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Right.
I'm a beer guy.
I'm
a beer guy. When I go to the bar, I drink whiskey. You know, sometimes I'll be at my friend's house. They'll offer me whiskey. I'll drink that, but I'm a beer guy.
I do like Scotch. I like a good Scotch, but I am definitely more of a beer guy.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
And Dylan says, Chris, don't disrespect the Jets while I'm in the chat. # out. I don't think I disrespected them. I just think I'm just being honest, Dylan. I'm not trying to disrespect your team. I mean, let's be real, Dylan. And I don't hate the Jets. I really don't. I root for you guys. If you were a quarterback, Dylan, and you were not a Jet fan, take your fan hat off. Where would you rather go? Would you rather go to the San Francisco 49ers or would you rather go to the New York Jets?
Especially after they just got rid of Sam Darnold.
The San Francisco 49ers have the best tight end in football. They have Brandon Ayuk. They've got they've got Deebo Samuel. They've got a great great offensive play caller. It's not even close. So it's not really knocking the Jets. I just think the 49ers are a year removed from the Super Bowl.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Taco Man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, Rem Spencer connection. This is Simon.
Oh, Simmons. Simmons? Isaiah Simmons all over again?
Yeah. I don't know what Rem Spencer connection. I don't know what he means by that. I wish I did. Rem Spencer connection. This is Simmons all over again. I don't know.
No.
Sorry. I don't know what you mean, buddy. Taco Man, but I appreciate it, my man. But I guess he's comparing somebody in the draft to Isaiah Simmons. Max, man, thank you very much, man. He says, if you like Scotch, try Monkey Shoulder. Maybe I'll give it a shot. My man.
See, I'm snobbish when it comes to Scotch. I like 21-year Scotch. Macallan's the best that I've had. Glenfiddich ain't bad either, but Monkey, you never know. What's the other? I forgot. Chevitz. That's actually not like that much of an expensive Scotch. Chevitz is pretty good too. I'd hit the head, man. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I better go. This is what happens when you drink an entire cranberry juice during the lake.
I'm going to answer this question from. Oh, go ahead. Go hit the head. I'm going to answer this question from Authentic. He says, how many winning seasons have the 49ers had under Kyle Shanahan? Well, let's be fair, Authentic. When did he's had the job there now for, I think, 3 years. Let me look at his record real quick. He's 29-35. So, yeah, I think that's 3 years. Let me make sure. I want to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's been 3 years. So let's just say it was 3. Well, 16 times, that's 48 games. So, yeah, I think that's 3. I think it's 3 years. The first year, Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. He didn't play. The second year, he brought him to the Super Bowl. This last year, everybody on the team got hurt again. So, yeah, I mean, when your quarterback goes down, you're not going to win a whole lot of games. So, I still think he's a great offensive mind. Even if he's not a great head coach, I think he's a fantastic offensive mind. And Pinmore, man, thank you very much. Captain Morgan and ginger ale. I've had that. Captain and ginger is fantastic. It tastes just like cream soda. That's my go-to mixed drink, actually. Captain and ginger. Let's see. Chris, remember Spencer connection with Parsons. Oh, that's what you meant. Coach Chaos. This is Simmons all over again like last year. Can't get away from these linebackers. I actually like him more than Simmons. I like Simmons, but I was never in love with Simmons like everybody else was. I like Parsons more than Simmons. Because he has a defined position. I didn't ever really feel like Simmons had a defined position. I like Parsons more than Simmons.
I like Parsons more than Simmons, but
as a prospect,
I was a Simmons guy.
Just as a talent. I don't know about the other stuff, but just as a talent.
Although I did love when we got McKinney because I felt like McKinney was the same type of player. He's just a safety that I could play linebacker, and Simmons was kind of the opposite, but Simmons was not good. McKinney was good when he played. I'm excited. I hope Xavier McKinney stays healthy. I'm excited about McKinney. I was probably my favorite pick in our draft last year was Xavier McKinney. So, because I didn't think he was getting in the second round.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were mad that we missed out on Winfield because Winfield had a ton of interceptions and McKinney was hurt, but McKinney played well. Obviously that was one that I liked, and I like Jeremy Chin. Those are a couple safeties I never thought McKinney would be there. I never mocked McKinney to us in the second round because I didn't think he'd be there. I mocked a bunch of safety to us last year. That was not one. So,
I don't think anybody thought McKinney was going to be there.
Yeah, I thought Dallas
and Lotto, that would be friggin' awesome.
And we all know that. Hey, the Giants had a trade set up. I don't know who it was with, but they were going to trade back. Except for McKinney was there. They must have said, if McKinney's there, we're taking him. But if not, trade back. So
yeah, no, that came out. Gettleman said he couldn't pass it up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought. But Lotto, I just saw that message. I would definitely talk to Paulson Adebo. He's a prospect that I really like. If you could set up an interview, that'd be amazing. You can message me on Twitter or Instagram. I appreciate you even having the thought, man. Let's see. Nikki Savage says, I want Smith. Obviously, I take Penny Sewell. Again, Chris. Slater was a second-round pick heading into this year per everyone. He opted out and is now top 10. I like him, but not over Devontae. Hey, it's fair. I'm an offensive line guy, Nicky. I'm always going to be an offensive line guy until the offensive line gets good. I'm always going to. I'm going to give you a preview of next year's draft if the offensive line sucks again. I'm going to continue to hammer it home until it gets good. Because if the offensive line isn't good, our wide receivers aren't going to be good. Our quarterback's not going to be good. Our running back's not going to be good. So until such time this offensive line gets good, I'm going to continue to harp on it. So I see Rashawn Slater. I like Rashawn Slater. I like the tape I've seen. I like his versatility. I like what people say about him. And after what we did in free agency, I was Team Waddle. I was Team Smith before free agency. After what we did in free agency, I want an offensive lineman or I want a difference maker on defense like Parsons. If it was up to me. It's not up to me. So we may get a wide receiver. We'll see.
And the other thing is there's so many players that are not on anybody's draft board. And all of a sudden they go, Joe Burrow, for example. Joe Burrow was nowhere close to being the number one overall pick going into that year. Not close. Had a great year, number one overall pick. Trevor Lawrence, different story. Since his freshman year when he blew out Alabama in the national championship game, everybody had Trevor Lawrence on the radar. Everybody. But a lot of these players are nobody, and then they blow up. We see it every year. Or they have a great combine, and all of a sudden, there's just something. Or you get these character issues, or whatever. They have a bad combine, and all of a sudden, the stock drops. So it's crazy. Again, second round pick or not, this is the thing, Nikki. Slater's not going to be there in the second round. So if the Giants really like him and they feel like they need a Slater, whether they're going to put him at right tackle or they're going to move him to right guard to replace Kevin Zeitler, if that's who they like, they're going to take. It's because he's not going to be there. Now, me, I would definitely take Jalen Waddle and go Creed Humphrey in the second round. I love Creed Humphrey. I'm just an Oklahoma guy. I don't know what to tell you. But I don't pick every Oklahoma guy. There's just some Oklahoma guys who are like, and I've loved Creed since he was a freshman. I would love Creed to move Nick Gates to right guard where he belongs. I would love that too. So,
hey, I'm going to continue. I'm going to say what I said earlier. If they take a wide receiver and they go with Creed Humphrey, or if they go with Wyatt Davis, or if they go with name an offensive lineman that you like, Trey Smith, or name somebody, whoever it is that you like in the second round, if they go that route, I'm on board with it. You just better.
Hey, Daddy, you don't think Creed will be there at 42? You think?
He will. I think he will be.
I know. Big Daddy said Creed won't be there.
I think he will be. I would.
I think he'll be there. At 76, no.
The Steelers could take him. The Steelers desperately need a center. But I think there's a good chance he'll be there. And if not, Dickerson will probably be there, who's another center prospect. But if they want to go wide receiver, interior offensive line round 2, I'll understand it. If they feel like one of these guys is a transcendent talent, all I'm going to say is, and I'm going to give him a fair opportunity, and I'm going to root my ass off, and I'm going to hope he's the next Odell Beckham. If that wide receiver is not a top 5 to 8 talent at the position by year 3, it was a horrible pick. That's my honest opinion of it. That's my honest opinion. He's got to be an elite talent to warrant taking him at 11th overall, at that position specifically, because I think that there are more important positions that are bigger needs for us right now that we'd be passing up to take a wide receiver in the first round. So if you believe Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle is going to be a top 10 wide receiver, I'm okay with the pick. I'm happy with the pick. Yeah, but he better be a top 10 wide receiver.
Somebody said Creed's going to the Chiefs. The Chiefs need tackles. They don't need a center. The Chiefs lost both their tackles. I mean, I don't know why they would take Creed, but we'll see. I'll be surprised if Creed goes in the first round. I'd be surprised. And I love Creed. Like I said, I've loved Creed since he was a freshman at Oklahoma. The kid is nasty. He's strong as hell. His pro day was off the chart. I mean, he's good. But I'll be surprised if he's a first round guy. But you never know. Offensive line is very important, and GMs know this, especially when you have young quarterbacks. They know the importance of a young offensive line. So we'll see. That's why the draft is fun, man. There is no surefire thing except for Trevor Lawrence going to the Jaguars. And other than that, then you can probably Zach Wilson going to the Jets. The first two picks you probably have. And then
that's a lock, I think. Unless quarterback. Maybe they don't go Zach Wilson, but two quarterbacks are going top two.
I don't know who else they would take.
They could take Fields. There's rumors
I can't see them taking Justin Fields.
I don't think they will. But if they're not going to go Wilson, I think they'd go Fields from what I've read.
Well, where did the Eagles think that Fields was going to go then? Or not Fields, I'm sorry.
Wilson.
Probably
the 49ers, if the Jets didn't take him.
Did they already make that move?
Maybe not.
The 49ers trade up to 3 and then the Eagles traded back? Yeah, I think they did do that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's.
Yeah. Floyd says no Dickerson for. Yeah, I know. I was about to say that next, Floyd. That's what I worry about with Dickerson. The guy was actually a guard first. He had a number of injuries. Then he played center, got hurt again. Yeah, he has an extensive injury history. I do like Dickerson. And if Dickerson was healthy, from everything that I hear and everything that I see from people that break down film, he would have been a first-round pick. But he does have an extensive injury history. So, yeah, in the third round, I'd be okay with him. But I agree with you. I would probably tend not to want to take him in the second. Jared, man, thank you very much. After seeing your vid, I want to take a second-round wide receiver. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm not trying to change anybody's minds or anything like that. I just share my opinion as to why I think the way that I do. But I appreciate you for checking out the video, man. And Allison, thank you so much. Hey, Chris, trade up late in the first for and with who? Well, again, it depends on what we do. You know, let's just say if you put a gun to my head right now, Baddog, by the way, I think we're going to take Devontae Smith. Yeah. I tell people what I think we're going to do, what I want to do, but not necessarily what I think is going to happen. I mocked Devontae Smith to us in our first mock, and I do believe some of the things that I've read that the Giants may not be in love with their offensive line. Maybe that's being a little bit over the top, but I do think they believe in some of this young talent. I think they're going to wait till the second or third round to take an offensive lineman. And I think in the end, we're going to take Devontae Smith. I think he's going to be there right now. And my opinion may change. It's the draft. My opinion changes weekly.
Everybody does.
Yeah, but if you ask me right now, if I was doing a mock today, not based on what I think they should do, what I think will happen, I think Devontae Smith is going to be a New York Giant. But as far as
I still think it's going to be Rashawn Slater. Gettleman loves Hogs.
Yeah.
Gettleman has to protect Daniel Jones. Gettleman just spent $70 million on a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I
could be wrong.
I could be wrong too.
My opinion changes every day. Not every day, but my opinion changes, weekly because it's the draft, whatever, based on things you hear and everything else. Yeah. But I thought it was going to be Devontae Smith 2 months ago. And then after free agency, I started to say, offensive line. Then I start to see some of these articles. They're saying that the Giants like their offensive line. I still don't think they're in love with it, but I think they could get by and try to get a guy in the second or third round. My brain is telling me if he's there, I think they're going to take Devontae Smith. But as far as what you said, Allison, in that scenario where they do take Devontae Smith at number 11, and if we were to trade up, the only thing that we could be trading up for there, in my opinion, if we took Devontae Smith, would either be an offensive lineman that was dropping that shouldn't have, or an edge prospect that they really like. So say Jenkins, for example, the offensive lineman everybody likes, is dropping from where he should be going in the 15, 16 range. He drops to the 27, 28 range. Or a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker or Darisaw. If one of those guys drop a lot more than expected, that's a guy I can see them try to come up and get on the offensive line. The defense, maybe they really like a guy like JOK. Maybe he drops a guy like Azeez Ojulari. So I could see in that scenario where a guy gets that 27, 28 range, where they do try to make a jump. But it would cost you a decent amount because we're picking 41 or 42. I think it's 41. Maybe it's 42. It would cost you a decent amount. But, yeah, I could see under a certain circumstance where they've done it before. They did it for DeAndre Baker.
They had more draft picks, though.
They did have more draft picks. And I'm not saying I predict it to happen, but I think that is what it would take. I think it would be to move up for a lineman who shouldn't be there that they really like, or it would be to move up for an edge rusher that they like that they don't think will be there when they pick in the second round.
How far do you think? That's kind of far off top. Well, not really far off topic because I don't think he would drop to the late rounds. But how far do you think Micah Parsons would fall? I mean, what is like his floor? Like, how far do you think he could fall because of the character issues? Before somebody says to hell with it, we need to take this kid. His talent is, his risk is worth the reward. New England?
It's so hard to predict because you don't know how these teams are going to in terms of just a talent. He's a top 6 or 7 player in this draft.
I agree.
But we've seen. I don't think he gets to the second round.
No, I don't think so either. I'm just
wondering
what you think his floor is as far as how far he could drop. I mean, how about Randy Moss? I mean,
maybe 20. If like the character concerns are legitimate, maybe like 20, 21, 22. I don't think he'll fall out of the first round.
I wouldn't want Washington to get him. I can tell you that.
And they need an edge rusher by all accounts, even though he's not really an edge. But I think the more I'm reading about Washington, I think they're going to take an edge.
He wouldn't chase you. Well, Kerrigan's not there. Kerrigan's gone.
I've read. Or like an outside linebacker.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've read that a lot of people think they could do. I think they should go offensive line, but we'll see what happens. Mike, man, thank you very much. He says, hey, fellas, it's my birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, Mike, man. Thanks for popping in the stream.
Happy birthday, sir.
And Joey Lutz, I stole everybody's wrench. I started from scratch, but I always love you when you come in, Joe. Been with me forever, man. And I never would steal your cannoli. You know that.
Hey, I don't even have a wrench on this channel, so what do you want?
I got to get you a wrench. Dylan says, Chris, I got a bold take. Quinnen Williams is a better and more valuable defensive player than every defensive player on the Giants. Hashtag facts. I like Quinnen Williams. I like Quinnen Williams a lot in that draft. He was my second favorite defensive player in that draft. Might have even been, well, other than Bosa. He's really good for you guys. Leonard Williams is pretty damn good.
James
Bradbury's pretty damn good. And the funny thing is, Dylan, you guys were laughing when we traded for him. That trade doesn't look so bad anymore, Baddog.
No, the trade looks pretty good.
I'd have to say, at least as of now, Leonard Williams is a better player than Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams could be a better player, but Leonard Williams was damn good last year.
He won't be. He's on the Jets.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here.
There's my dad used to call them the Jetties. I don't know why he called them that, but he used to say, yeah, the Jetties stink. No.
Allison says I'm still – yeah, well, Allison, I was doing that based off if we took Devontae Smith. If we took Micah Parsons or if we took, Slater, we maybe there's a guy we could trade up for. But I honestly don't think
might be there at 42.
He could be. Yeah.
And I'm all for taking him at 42 if we want Micah Parsons in the first round, and then you could still trade Evan Ingram for that early 4th round pick with Jacksonville, which is what I would love. I mean, I wouldn't have any problem with that at all.
Yeah. I just don't see us trading up for Freiermuth because, like I said earlier, I don't think we're taking a tight end unless we trade Evan Ingram. But I do like Freiermuth.
But is it possible? I mean, is it possible that the Giants do have something in the works where, hey, if Pitts is there at 11, we're going to trade you Evan Ingram? Do you think that they they could have that worked out already, saying, listen, if Pitts is there, which again, he's probably 95% he's not going to be there. Stranger things have happened, but just say that they do. Say that, listen, if Pitts is there at 11, we'll move Evan Ingram to you. If he's not, we're going to hold on to him.
No, maybe. Nikki says, I get it, Bad Dog. I know you're a Sooners man through and through. I'm the same for Bama. I've loved these guys since they were freshmen and feel like I know them best. That wide receiver core of Judy, Ruggs, Smith, and Ridley. I mean, that's a ridiculous receiving core.
Oh, listen, Bama's pumped out receiver after receiver after receiver. There's no doubt about that. But I still think CeeDee Lamb is better than Ruggs. And Ruggs is just faster, but I think CeeDee Lamb was a more complete receiver. I still think that. Like I said, CeeDee Lamb to me, he doesn't run a 4.3, but he's a great route runner. He's probably had the best catch radius in the entire draft. And the guy's got great hands. I mean, he's a complete package. She's just not a burner. But you give me a 4.5 guy that catches, runs great routes, and has a great catch radius over a guy that runs a bunch of go routes and runs a 4.3. I'll take that all day. I don't think Henry Ruggs was the best receiver in that draft. Uncle Lou would agree. Now, Uncle Lou's an SEC homer, but he would tell you that CeeDee Lamb was better than Henry Ruggs. And, I couldn't believe CeeDee Lamb was the last one to go. And Jerry Jeudy was.
I was shocked. I was shocked. I thought Jeudy would go 1 and Lamb would go 2. I didn't think Ruggs would go 1.
But the Raiders always love to take their speed guys. They've done it their entire franchise, and they've always sucked. So I guess it really doesn't matter. So let's take Darius Hayward, but let's just take the fastest guys. If John Ross was there when they drafted, they would have taken him too. It's just what
I'm sure they would have. Zig, man, thank you very much. Skipping out on Isaiah Simmons, still looking good. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been 1 year. Let's give the kid a little bit more than 1 year.
Yeah, it has nothing. To me, it even has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with our offensive line, and that's why I was always for taking Thomas. Is we complaining about our offensive line now? Imagine how much we'd be complaining about it if we didn't already have Thomas.
That's very true. I mean, our offensive line could have been a lot worse. Then again,
and we would have no.
Look at what Patrick Graham did with his defense. You don't know what Isaiah Simmons would have done.
No, I'm not. Simmons could be great with the Giants.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I look at the Giants' offensive line. We're already talking about how it's a problem, and that's with having hope with Andrew Thomas already on the roster. And we're like, we believe this guy is going to be our future left tackle because we like the way that he played after Joe Judge stepped in, had the really good second half.
Yep.
So imagine what we'd feel about our offensive line if Andrew Thomas wasn't already a part of it.
I completely agree.
So to me, I will never have any regrets. Now, Thomas may end up being the wrong pick. I hope not, and I don't think he will be. But maybe Thomas ends up being a bad tackle. I don't think he will be. So
listen, I wanted Isaiah Simmons, but I had no problem with Andrew Thomas. I was happy that we took Andrew Thomas. I said the whole time, it's just like this year. Obviously, I want Kyle Pitts. He's not going to be there. So whoever they take, I'm going to be happy with it. It's like last year. I said, listen, I want Isaiah Simmons, but if they go offensive line, I'm fine with that. I was fine with offensive line. I didn't really want Becton because I was worried that guy's a big risk, but Jedrick Wills, I would have been happy with him. I would have been happy with Tristan Wirfs, although that was not a guy that I really wanted, but I would have been fine with any of those tackles last year.
Listen, at the end of the day, in my opinion, tackle was the only way to go last year. And again, I wouldn't have cried if we took Simmons, but I was 98% we got to go tackle. So hopefully Thomas works out to be the right tackle, but I do not think we should have taken Simmons, and hopefully Thomas ends up being the right tackle. But I thought we had to go tackle, so I have no regrets of not taking him, Zig. Vinman, thank you very much. Everyone's saying line wide receiver. I get it, but Parsons. I love Parsons. Yeah. You're not going to – I am much more open to going defense this year than last year. You're not going to see me cry if we take Parsons. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Parsons. NY Giants 26, man. Thank you very much. Gut feeling Giants will get a steal in rounds 1, 2, and 3.
Be the best.
I'll take a steal. I'll take a steal in any one of those rounds, my man. Hopefully, I think we're gonna have a good draft. I trust the evaluation process. I trust Judge's mind. I trust Gettleman. I think they work well together. I think we're gonna have a good draft. And no matter what they do, I'm gonna be patient. I'm not gonna flip out in the first round because I'm gonna say to myself, all right, they're gonna address whatever I didn't like that they did in the first, in the second. And I'm going to give them the whole draft before I evaluate the first round pick, the second round pick, the third round pick. I think they're diligent. I think they're going to have a plan, and I think they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, I see. He said Lamb was much better. I like Devontae Smith better than. I got no problem with. Listen. I'm more of a Jalen Waddle guy, but I certainly have no problem with Devontae Smith. They're both great. Alabama, like I said, the last few years, their receiving core has been stupid good. I would love Devontae Smith to be a New York Giant. That'll piss the Eagle fans off. The Eagle fans are all raving about – Eagle fans rave about everybody. So it really don't matter. They're raving about Pitts. They're raving about Devontae Smith. They're raving about Jamar Chase. They're raving about all these guys. And guess what? They ain't getting a damn one of them. That's what I love about it. It's actually hard to take Pat Surtain if he fell.
Pat Surtain wouldn't be a bad pick for them.
Would not be a bad pick.
And nor would J.C. Horn.
No. And I think that they're picking 12. I definitely think that that's one of their guys. And that would be smart.
Yeah.
But they're not smart. So let me take that back. So trying to think of like after Chase Smith and who was like the fourth best receiver on the board?
What, this year or next?
This year. 12.
Oh, the guy from Minnesota.
Smith, Waddle, and
Smith, Waddle, Chase, and then the guy from Minnesota is the fourth best.
Oh, Rashad Bateman. So don't take him.
Yeah.
Well, actually, who's like the sixth best?
Rondell Moore, maybe, or
let's take Rondell Moore.
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. Kadarius Toney. Maybe they draft Kyle Trask 12th.
I'd be open to that. Ms. Rye, I want to shout out Ms. Rye, and then I'm going to get to Dependable Line Super Chat. He's got a YouTube channel, by the way. Check him out. Diehard Giants fan. I was watching your video today, Ms. Rye. I commented, man. You were getting me amped up, man. Diehard Giants fan. He says, guys, Tevin Jenkins is an animal. Well, yeah, we talked about him early, Ms. Rahi. I like him. I don't think we'll take him at 11, but I do like him a lot. He's a nasty. If we traded down, I'd be completely open to drafting him. He's nasty. He's the type of player that I like, but I don't think we'd take him at 11. Dependable, thank you very much. What would you say if way out in left field and highly unlikely we go O-line with our first 2 picks? You think I'm going to be upset about that? Dependable. When I go to bed, I dream about hogs. That's all I dream about. I literally want to be a farmer for a living because all I think about is hogs and fixing this offensive line for the New York Giants. So is it what I would do? No. And I'm Captain Hog. So, but would I be upset? No. I'd be like, okay. Be happy with that. What did you say?
I wouldn't be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go hog, but would I cry?
Humphrey, though, I mean, okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to go that way, but I'm not going to have a Daniel Jones reaction if that's what they did. No.
Yeah, you're going to look at it like, all right.
I don't know why they're doing it.
They're trying to finally fix this offensive line.
Again, if they do and Daniel Jones sucks, then at least they got it ready for the next quarterback.
Yeah. And I dream about you dream about Lisa Ann. And somebody said I don't actually dream about hogs, guys, but I do like the hog mollies. Vin says Judge is the sole reason I'm feeling blind faith crazy. Yeah, the guy could coach. The guy could coach and he gets the most. Not just him, but I think the entire coaching staff. Patrick Graham, everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. NY Giants 26. Chiefs ain't going center. No, they're going to go tackle.
You're going tackle.
Chiefs are going tackle. I'd be shocked. There's a couple of teams that I'm positive. Well, you can never be positive, but there's a couple of teams. There's a couple of teams that I would say 3 or 4 teams that I'm almost sure what they're going to do. They're one of them. After seeing what happened in the Super Bowl, they lost both their tackles. I would be shocked if Kansas City does not draft a tackle.
They're going offensive line.
Yeah, and depending on
they're giving Mahomes $50 million a year. They better protect him.
Yeah, Dependable says the way you went about responding made my night. Listen, it's the truth. You get hogs, I'm gonna be a happy man. You know that. Call me old school, call you whatever. I am always going to believe the most important unit of a football team is the offensive line. There's a reason, guys. I don't just do it. I don't just say it to say it. There's a reason I liked Gettleman when we hired him. There's a reason that I say that I agree with his philosophy. It doesn't mean that I agree with all the things that he's done, but I agree with his mission. I do think, and I will always think, no matter how innovative the game gets, no matter how innovative, if they throw 60 times a game, I will always believe games are won and lost in the trenches. And until the New York Giants trenches get much better on the offensive side, we're not going to win very many football games. So that is why I supported Dave Gettleman when we hired him, because he made it a focal point that he's going to address that.
It took him a little bit to address it.
And I'm not saying he's done a good job at it, but I agree with him.
He addressed other things first.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, and he signed Nate Solder and he drafted Will Hernandez his first year here. It didn't work out, but he did attempt to do it. John, man, thank you very much. I think if all the top wide receivers are gone before 11 and Parsons is there, I don't see us passing on him. If the hazing was a real thing, he would have been charged already. Second round, I like Dickerson, center out of Alabama. John, I hope you're right. I'd be very happy if we get him. Dickerson, I think a lot of Giants fans like Dickerson because he grew up a Giants fan. He's a center. We've heard that the New York Giants have interviewed him. He's a good player. The injury history really concerns me. The guy's had 3 or 4 major injuries in his career, so I worry about that. But I think from everything that I hear, he might be one of the better interior offensive linemen in this draft. But it's the injury concerns that you worry about. And MY Giants 26, Chris, what are you doing? I dream about hot moms, game changer. Guys, it is 12:32. We're going to wrap this up in like a couple of minutes, but I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here, all the support that you guys always show. We still had over 700 people in here, even though we went later tonight. We're at 12:30 at night on a Thursday. You guys are incredible. I can't say thank you enough to all the support you guys always show. If you haven't done so, going over to Baddog's channel. My mods are going to drop it in the chat. We'll be over there next week talking more about the Giants, more about the draft. Love doing this. Love talking to you guys, even when there's not a ton to talk about. The draft's going to be here before we know it, and then there's going to be a lot to talk about. We're going to be live streaming the draft. We're going to be recapping the draft for probably a month. And you're going to have the undrafted free agents are going to come in. We're going to talk about the roster. We're going to talk about team expectations. There's going to be a lot to talk about the week leading up into the draft and about a month after the draft. Yes. So it's starting to get to that point where there's going to be a lot of content, where it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't say thank you enough to each and every one of you guys for all the support you guys show each and every week. Yeah,
it's amazing, man. I love it, and like I said, man, this is when it gets fun. This is, I've said this a long time, and I say it every week, man. I always would say, wait till the Giants are good, man. We'll just wait till they're good. The show continues to grow week in and week out. You guys and girls, the support is amazing, which is why I say we have the best fan base on YouTube. So many other fan bases would tuck tail and run. They wouldn't be here when your team is, 4-12 and 6-10 and 5-11, and the channel, the show wouldn't keep growing. People are like, oh, the hell with the Giants. I don't care. But you guys are amazing, and even though we were 6-10 last year, we were in the thick of a divisional race, and that was a lot of fun. It was stressful. It was a lot of fun, but the moves that we've made, the draft that we had last year, the coaching staff that we have with the draft to come this year, we're to the point where we've addressed so many of our needs that number 11 now could go many different positions, and we'd all be happy. This is going to be a fun year. And I've said this before, too. For the first time in years, I'm actually excited. I've said that. I haven't really meant it. But this year, I am very excited to see what the New York Giants do, because I really believe that they can win 10 games and win this division. I really do believe we're the best team in this division. I said it last year when we were bad. I definitely think we're the best team in this division, and I think we got a chance to win it.
Yeah, no, I'll get to that in 1 second. I just want to shout out Nations. I mean to shout him out more. He's been with me forever. Show him in there. What's up, Nations, man? Thanks for popping in. He says top tier content on a regular basis for free. Doesn't get much better than that at the Nations, man. Thank you for all the support you always show the channel, man. You've been one of my best supporters from the beginning. Thank you for popping in. But, yeah, that's what this year is about. Listen, I'm always excited for Giants football. Last year I was excited about the growth of the team, but in terms of having excitement for, actual expectations, yes, this is the first time since 2017, which hopefully it's not the same result, that I'm going into the year with real expectations. 2018, I had moderate expectations. 2019, I knew the deal. I knew we were going to suck, rookie quarterback. 2020, I knew we were going to struggle, but I thought we'd improve. 2017, I had high hopes. I'm not quite as high as 2017. 17, we were coming off 11-5 season. We bulked up the offense. We thought we had a legitimate shot to really go at it. Yep. But I do think we're going to take a big step this year, and I do think we're going to be competitive, and that's what my expectations are. I think we're going to have a good football team, and I don't think we're going to be a pushover. I think we're going to be able to go toe-to-toe with a lot of teams on our schedule, and I think it's going to be a really fun year to cover them on YouTube. You know, there's a lot of times by week 6, week 7, you're like, God.
Yeah, we were 1-7 last.
Yeah, and you're like, God, I got to tell these people again, be patient. Wait, wait it out. We're headed down the right path. We're going to have a good second half, and it's going to, I don't think I'm going to have to do that this year. I'm not saying we're winning a Super Bowl. I'm not even saying we're making the playoffs. I think we will. I'm going to predict us to make the playoffs, but I'm not going to guarantee that. But what I am going to guarantee is we're going to be competitive. We're going to be a team that plays hard against good teams, and we're going to pick off some good teams as well. I think we're going to have a competitive football team. I think we're going to have a good football team. And I think it's going to be a really fun year, and I'm looking forward to it.
I look at it this way. Last year, I say it all the time, no minicamp, no OTAs, no training camp, brand new coaching staff. Everything is fresh. We didn't have Saquon Barkley for 14 and a half games. We played one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. We had no number one wide receiver. This year, we have Kenny Galladay. This year, we had Adoree Jackson and not Yadam over there on the other side. Hopefully, Saquon Barkley's there for all 16 games. Yeah. And on top of all this, you're going to have a full offseason. These guys know the deal. You got Leonard Williams back. You got Logan Ryan back. You got James Bradbury back. You got a healthy McKinney because McKinney wasn't there for 11 or 12 games last year. You got all this stuff going into it, and you still haven't even hit the draft. So I just feel our schedule is much easier this year. There is no reason to think this team's not going to win 10 or 11 games, in my opinion. And I do think they're making the playoffs, and I will be disappointed if they don't, because last year was a pipe dream. I picked them to go 6-10. Would have been nice to make the playoffs, even at 6-10. Would have been nice to play a playoff game, and you never know. You never know. But this year, I will be disappointed if they don't. I will be disappointed if they're not a winning ball club, because I feel like they've addressed enough of it. There's no excuses. This team needs to put up or shut up at this point. And I think they're going to put up.
Man, listen, at the end of the day, when you do what we did this offseason, had they not done that, I still would have had high expectations. I still would have thought 8 or 9 wins. But when you go out there and you spend the way that we did, to me, what that says is we're trying to accelerate the process. And in the NFL, when you accelerate the process, the expectations are playoffs. Period.
Not to mention, we didn't have Daniel Jones for 2 games. Evan Ingram dropped a sure win. And
by the way, we didn't really have Daniel Jones for like 4 games, because when he came back, he was not Daniel Jones.
Right. No, he wasn't. But we also, like I said, Ingram dropped the pass, and we blew 2 leads that we had no business blowing.
And Barkley missed 15 games.
Barkley missed 14 games. Right. Why can't we win 11 games? I think we can. I think we will. All things being we're healthy. You don't have Saquon Barkley for 14 and a half games again, or Daniel Jones is out for 14 games. Different story.
Yeah. Yeah. And Stefano, man, thank you very much. Who is the hardest schedule in the division? Love the vids. I appreciate that, man. I mean, you got to think it's Washington. They finished first. Yeah, so they play Green Bay because they finished first in the North, and they play the Rams or the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Wait, who do we play? We
have the Bears and the Bucks.
Oh, we play the Bears.
I actually think that. Do we play?
Oh, so they play.
They
play the Saints.
That's actually easier because they're not gonna have Drew Brees.
Yeah, but the Packers are much harder than the Vikings.
Packers are way harder than
the Bears, rather. Yeah. So I'd have to go with Washington just because they finished first. So
what does Washington get the last week of the season? We ended up with Miami.
They're going to get Buffalo because Buffalo got first in the East.
So that's tougher.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's tougher, especially, who knows what Tua is going to be. Buffalo's, I think, one of the top 4 teams in the league. Yeah. Allison, thank you very much. Says, hey, Kevin, how are you?
Good. How are you, Alice?
I'm super pumped for the training camp visit. It will be great. Do you think we will beat the Chiefs? I think we can. They're overrated.
I'll tell you what, Allison. Going into the year, you would have. Well, going into last year, you would have said absolutely not. But the fact that the Chiefs have no offensive line, and our defense is pretty damn good, and our secondary is going to be better. No, I don't think we're beating the Chiefs, but I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think they're blowing us out of the water. But listen, anything can happen. I mean, if they get to Pat Mahomes and they knock him down a bunch like Tampa Bay did, and like we did to Tampa Bay in 2017, or I'm sorry, 2007, yes. But if I'm going to sit here and be honest with you, no, I don't think we're ready to beat the Chiefs yet. But I definitely think we're ready to compete with the Chiefs.
What I'll tell you this is Allison, I'm not picking us to beat the Chiefs. I will not do that. You'll see in my prediction video before the year starts, the Chiefs are going to be beating us. That's my prediction. But what I'm going to tell you is this. Last year, and this is the God's honest truth, last year going into the year, I looked at our schedule before the year started, and I said, Baltimore, we're going to get destroyed. I said, San Francisco, before their injuries, we're going to get destroyed. I said Tampa Bay, we're probably going to get destroyed. I said Seattle, we're probably going to get destroyed. And I even probably thought we were going to get destroyed once against the Cowboys before the year started. I don't think I'm not this year. I am not going to go into the year looking at any game. I don't care if it's the Chiefs. I don't care if it's the Bucks. I'm not going to look at any game on our schedule before the year starts and say to myself, we're going to get destroyed. I think we have a good enough team to be competitive with any team in the league if we play the way we should on that given Sunday. I think we have enough talent. I think our coaching staff is good enough to put forth a good fight against the Kansas City Chiefs. And at the end of the day in the NFL, if you get a couple of bounces, anything could happen. But am I going to pick us? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Takanagi keeps saying, Bad Dog and Entertainment, stop with the old line. I know we need a guard, but we can get one in a second. I don't want to waste a first again on O-line. My gut says we go Parsons, Smith, or Watt. Very possible. I'm not going to be mad if they go any of those routes. I just know what Dave Gettleman likes. I know that Dave Gettleman's career, or not, well, probably his career, I doubt he'd take another job after this, hinges on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, if he sucks, Gettleman's gone. I don't even care if the Giants go 10-7. I think if Jones sucks, he's gone. If Jones isn't protected, he's not going to be good. Pat Mahomes wasn't good when he wasn't protected. It's important. I don't like going offensive line first round. I'm not an offensive. I know how important offensive line is. But yeah, I would much rather get a playmaker, which is why I wanted Isaiah Simmons over Andrew Thomas. But I understood the need for Andrew Thomas, and I was happy with Andrew Thomas. But I wanted Isaiah Simmons because Isaiah Simmons is supposed to be a playmaker. Offensive line.
I think he still will be. I still think Simmons is going to be good.
But I'm just saying, and Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith are playmakers. They're at those playmaking positions. But it's not going to surprise me if they take Rashawn Slater. It just won't. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but it will not surprise me if Gettleman says, we had to let Zeitler walk because of cap restrictions, and we could really use another guard.
Baddog, you a chess player at all?
Yes, actually, I am a chess player.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What position on a football team would you equate to the king? Quarterback, right?
Well, I mean, I would say the queen. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's the king because then the king's dead, the game's over. So.
And what is the most important thing to do for your king in the game of chess?
Protect. Use your pawns.
Protect your king, right?
Protect your king.
So how could anybody say protect it? That is football. I look at football the same way I look at chess. You got to protect your quarterback. That is, if you can't protect your quarterback, you ain't doing nothing.
We also use the
So anybody that says wasting a pick to protect your quarterback, you lose me there. That's not wasting a pick.
We also use the car analogy. It's great to go out and get a Ferrari. Well, we don't buy insurance for it. What the hell do you do if it wrecks? You're screwed. If you don't go out and get insurance for your quarterback, he can get wrecked. You're going to get screwed. It doesn't matter. You need to protect. You need insurance. You need to insure your quarterback. You need him to be standing upright. Doesn't matter how good he is if he's on his back all the time. Look at Tom Brady nobody could stop Tom Brady in 2007. Nobody. And I'm not even saying their offensive line was bad, but we won that game because Justin Tuck and Michael Strahan and Osi Umenyiora, Kavika Mitchell, they were knocking his ass down every time we dropped back to pass. Greatest quarterback in the history of the game. Set all the offensive records. Did not lose a game the entire season, but they lost that game. They beat us 38-35 last game of the season. But when they got to Tom Brady, they scored 7 points in what? 56 minutes before they scored at the end of the game?
Listen, at the end of the day, you can't protect your quarterback, you ain't winning. Right. That's it. Period. End of story. Super Bowl showed that.
The wide receivers ain't going to matter if the quarterback can't get the ball off.
Yeah. So it's not a wasted pick. And all the money we invested, if we can't block, I don't care if we draft another receiver. If we can't block, it ain't going to matter. So what I'm going to say is, and the way I'm going to look at this, if we don't go offensive line, I will understand it. I'll say, okay, we drafted 3 last year. They want these guys to mature. They invested in the coaching staff. They brought in a new offensive line coach. They brought in Pat Flaherty, the former offensive line coach, to help them with game film. Maybe they feel the players they brought in, continuity playing together again, the upgrades to the coaching staff, they can improve this offensive line. That's the way I'm going to look at it if they don't address it in the draft. But what I'm going to say is if there are not improvements to this offensive line, I don't care. We could have Tyreek Hill. We could have Travis Kelce. We could have the Chiefs players on offense. It doesn't matter. Right. You saw it in the Super Bowl, and we should know this better than anybody as Giants fans. So whether or not we address the offensive line, if the offensive line does not dramatically improve off of last year, this all goes up in flames. Okay. And that is why I stress the offensive line as much as I do. It's not. Do you think that I don't want to see guys making one-handed catches and running for 1,500 yards? And of course, everybody wants to see that.
But you don't get that without a good offensive line.
You have to be able to block.
You're right. You don't get that without a good offensive line. Don't happen.
It's football 101. Juicy Man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says 17-0, we rolling over everyone. Draft will be fun. Can't wait, my man. I'm really looking forward to it, my man. And Juicy Man, thank you very much. If the Giants don't draft an offensive lineman, I hit the gym and play right guard myself. Only tore my ACL once. If 88 can make it, I'll be a Pro Bowl. And Dependable says, at least with Slater and Leatherwood, there is competition and putting our quarterback in a much better situation. Yeah. Hey, we'll see what happens, man. Either way, I'm going to say the way I'm going to tell it to myself, because I trust the coaching staff. I trust the decisions they made last year. If they don't address it, that is what I'm going to tell myself. They improved the coaching staff. They brought in Rob Sale. Judge has faith in him. The offensive line matured last year. They believe another year together is going to improve this team, bringing in Pat Flaherty, so on and so forth. But if you ask me, yes, I think we should draft another offensive lineman early in this year's draft. Zig, man, thank you very much. If DJ fails, if we build the O-line, the team's ready for the easy transition for the next quarterback. Yep. That too. And that's what we've said countless times. But we are going to close this out. We went a little overtime for you guys because we got caught up in conversation. I got to get up early tomorrow as well. So, but I just want to say, but no, you're off tomorrow. Oh, that's right. You're on vacation.
I'm on vacation till April 19th, so I got another week off.
I forgot about that.
This week wasn't really a vacation. I think I've said Saturday, Easter egg hunt with my son, David Buster's dinner. Sunday, Easter all day. Monday, Lake George all day and all night. Didn't get back till Tuesday afternoon. Yesterday was my son's birthday. Today, I don't think I did much of anything. Oh, I got my taxes, and I told you that. Ouch.
Yeah, you told me about that, yeah.
And then
that's always fun time.
Tomorrow, I don't have anything to do, which is nice. Yankees at 3 o'clock, and that's about it. Then Saturday, son's birthday party. Sunday, wife's birthday. Then next week, there's my vacation.
Draft. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah.
April 30th, I'm taking a personal day. Because I am drinking. I'm not going to say I'm going to get hammered, but I do plan on throwing back a few beers with you ladies and gentlemen and having a damn good time.
It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
John says, let's go. First Slater, second Wyatt Davis or Creed, third Cleveland. But my ideal draft would be Parsons, Wyatt, or Creed, third baby Gronk. I don't think Gronk's getting into the third. But that would be a great draft. I'd be on board with that draft. That'd be a great draft. And Dependable says, I can't express how much I want Parsons and Leatherwood. Love you guys, and you guys have a great night. You as well, Dependable, man. Thank you to everybody for being here. Bad Dog, I'm going to let you close it out. You guys have a great rest of your night, and let me get this before I lose it. Y'all are the best. Love from Toronto. Appreciate it, my man. We'll be doing the same show again tomorrow on Bad Dogs. Bad Dog will be live
tomorrow, but
not next week, rather. Bad Dog will be live tomorrow doing the Yankee game if you want to go by there. I'll be live tomorrow doing the Knick game. And, I might have a mock draft out tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll have the time. But thank you guys for being here. Bad Dog, close it out.
Yeah, Dire Giants fan, I'll definitely take a look at Streamlabs. Like I said, this week has just been insane. I worked harder this week on vacation than I do at work. It's crazy. The only difference is I get to sleep in. Although I was up at 5:30 this morning because I was on Uncle Lou's show, and I just couldn't get back to sleep after I woke up. Anyway, one thing all you guys and girls for being here, I really do appreciate it. Again, we started a little bit later because the NBA schedules are crazy for both of us, and this is really the only time we could figure this out. So always appreciate you guys and girls tuning in. It means the world to us. And always have great questions and great comments and great ideas for the draft. And like I said, all we want is for the Giants to be good. We may not agree on how we think they're going to be better, but at the end of the day, it's all we want. And we are going to be better. And this is going to be a damn fun year. And hopefully all you guys and girls are there to ride along with us when we go into the playoffs, because it's going to happen. And we're going to kick the hell out of Philadelphia this year. And we're really going to enjoy that. So anyway, just want to say thank you, guys and girls. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're a Yankee fan, you want to come over to my channel about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, call the Yankees-Rays game, first Yankee game of the year. I'll make sure that I rip Gary Sanchez for quite a few. Anyway, so we got the Entertainment Talking Sports, man, Diggy Dizzle. We're out. Peace.
Davey, so just want to give you a quick shout out. Thanks for popping the stream, man. Have a good night, everybody.